on these.
It's a good point.
I'm happy to, though, because I actually think my eyes are going to prefer that.
It means we can see things. That you can see us in my glasses. Maybe I don't need to. I don't think I need to when I'm this close. Doobity-doo. Live show. This is our live show. We have gone live. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. I'm going to be so on it with these comments and questions today. I'm going to be like, bam, answered.
You know, even you saying that, he's been go,
I'm not sure anyone's here.
Yep. Hello.
Hey. Oh, my God. Hey. Hey, behind the curtain.
Hello.
We're just here. We're
Chilling.
live.
We're quite early, actually.
We are. This is early for us.
Yeah.
Yes, send me an email, send me a message. If you've already done that and I haven't replied to you, do it again. I've spent all day getting on top of my emails. No, actually, I've spent all day having lunch with my family for my mother's birthday. Hey, Dylan, how have you been? Dylan, have you seen any theatre since we saw you last at the weekend? Other than my show, where I saw you. Good evening from Toronto. Good evening, Toronto. Hello in Spain. Hello, Kira. Brightening up a dull Wednesday night. Russell, I don't know whereabouts in the world you are, but it is rainy where we are. It is raining here. Hi, Kevin in Baltimore, Maryland.
I have no idea.
Do you pronounce the D, Maryland?
Hello, everyone on TikTok as well.
Hello, Stefan in Hamburg. Hello, everyone on Aaron's
Hello.
TikTok.
Let us know where you're watching from. We love that.
My email is MickeyJoTheatre@gmail.com. Hello in Romania. Wow, I think that's the first time I've ever seen a Romania.
I think so, yeah.
On the wow. Hello in Texas.
Oh, you saw Les Mis in concert on Thursday.
Oh.
I forgot that had already started.
Is that in Belfast? Is that where that is?
New York, London. Kate's here.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate. We're doing the simulcast between
We're both
YouTube
on YouTube and on
TikTok.
TikTok. You can find us on Aaron James's TikTok or my YouTube at MickeyJoTheatre.
Yeah.
We are preempting you, Kate, with Theatre Talk Wednesday.
Yeah.
I guess.
Hello. Yes, Kate from New York, because Kate is always from New York.
Kate famously lives in New York. Hello on the Isle of Man. Do you get much theatre on the Isle of Man? What's theatre like on the Isle of Man? Tell me more. I'm curious. Hello in Washington, D.C. Hoping to go to Washington, D.C. at some point next year to experience the many different theatres in D.C., trying to find a time that there's a good overlap of lots of different things there at the same time. Hello in a hotel in London, just been to see I Wish You Well on my own. What did you think of I Wish You Well, the Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial musical?
And hope you're having a fun London trip. What else did you have planned for your trip?
Yeah, are you seeing anything tomorrow? Has there been hints of a recording of Hello Dolly with Imelda Staunton, either audio or video? Not that I've heard. Not that I've heard. Did Carl tweet at any point that Hello Dolly had been recorded?
I don't believe Hello Dolly was
I don't think it was filmed. I don't know if it was even audio recorded necessarily.
No, I don't think so. I haven't heard anything about cast recording.
Do you wonder if they weren't allowed to because of the changes? Because they changed a lot to make it more like the film, and I wonder if they were allowed to do that for the show, but if they weren't allowed to preserve it necessarily, because it was very filmified.
Yeah, it was very different. Hello, Megan. We met Megan at Fringe.
Oh, amazing! Enjoy
Chorus Line. I hope you enjoy it.
Haven't been to see the Hairspray tour. Haven't seen Hairspray since it was at the Coliseum, and before that, I hadn't seen it.
I didn't see it at the Coliseum, so I'd seen the last UK tour, I think.
I'm going to use your mouse mat here because
we didn't go to see Oliver at Chichester. We're waiting to see it in the West End.
Yeah. We already knew by the time it was in Chichester that it was going to be heading to the West End, and that seemed like its like final destination because they're very different spaces. Chichester is a thrust and the Gielgud is not. So we were like, we'll wait and see it at at the Gielgud.
You're being too
dropping keys.
Stop.
No, I'm trying to get to your mouse mat because you aren't using your mouse mat for your mouse. You're using your mouse mat to pile things on top of like a maniac.
If you didn't know, Mickey, give him.
How are you finishing this sentence?
Give him 2 seconds, and he will suddenly be either cleaning or on a new job.
Only if there's an extraordinary amount of cleaning to be done. We're not at my desk.
I would love to say that if that was true.
You just picked up a cotton bud and
Before
you're throwing
you
it away.
started trying to start on something else.
Anyway, gonna try to get some of my stagey classmates to come to your next show. Oh, thank you, Dylan. I would love to meet your stagey classmates. Would you do a video explaining how you both budget, i.e. New York trip, theatre trips in UK, and your upcoming wedding?
The wedding part of that.
Are we budgeting for an upcoming wedding?
At some point we will be.
Yeah.
That's not a giggle because it's not part of the plans. It's very much part of the plans, and it's been spoken about a bit recently.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of one of those things that we're like, oh yeah, that's happening.
It's also tricky to budget as freelancers in theatre because the industry is unpredictable and freelancing is unpredictable and social media is unpredictable. So 1 month to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 day to the next, 1 email to the next.
Oh,
Who knows what's going on?
Some live streamed for your show.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, yeah. What's budgeting?
Yeah, what's budgeting?
I'd love to
What
say.
even is that?
I'd love to say we were experts at it. We're not. We just kind of varies.
Yeah.
I mean, like it just varies as well when like different things we have to like different big payments and stuff are due and stuff, and when we've done them and like life.
Yeah, which is not particularly exciting. The extent of like theatre budgeting that we do is I think New York trips are a lot more expensive than like trips anywhere around the UK. And there's a set like it's if you're going to New York for as long as we are, then you need like a 4-figure amount of money.
And we try to like figure out with theatre, we kind of go
that's after flights.
Yeah, and we kind of do with theatre, we spend a lot of time going like, is this useful for like content being created and stuff like that, so that it can kind of be like net.
That's the thing from my perspective. I have to be like, am I going to be able to like, is this going to be worth the trip? Is this going to?
That's sometimes why we don't return to shows as much as maybe we'd love to.
Yeah,
it's just because of trying to entertain, trying to make sure we're covering things for everyone.
It's why sometimes I end up going to, and this feels very cynical, but why sometimes I go to musicals. It might be more obvious that I might not like rather than plays that I might love because that content doesn't perform as well, sadly. But yeah, boring financial realities, everybody. Oh, the amateur theatre on the Isle of Man is unreal. There you go. Amateur theatre on the Isle of Man.
Christmas City in Pennsylvania.
Christmas City, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Fascinated.
Wow.
Absolutely fascinated. Imagine living in a place called Christmas City. Hello from London. Hello, Eurovision Peter. I saw Cable Street, the musical at Southwark Playhouse last night. Did you enjoy? I saw it on its previous run. I dare say it's changed quite a bit. I really like and remember that one song from it in the early portion of the show. It's like, hey, you're not in Ireland anymore. You've all the packed your to push you out the door. So hey, cause these are all dirty couples. It's a great song.
Thank you so much for all the hearts, by the way, on the live. It does mean a lot. It helps.
Thank you, everybody. Brian says that explains why you keep torturing yourself with cabaret. No, Brian, that's a really difficult and complicated concept involving other people having different opinions to yours. But we're going to keep talking it through and eventually we'll get there. The live streaming of your live shows is really well done. They do a great job.
They do a really good job.
I take no credit for this because I'm just on stage and they are filming me, running around, making sure they're getting the right camera angles.
I was going to say, what's great is during the show when you're there, you see how they communicate with each other and make sure that they that they're showing like perfect views of everything, so that it's not a separate
brilliant. It's
experience.
It's three cameras, it's close-ups, it's different angles, and it's a small intimate space, and I think it captures that quite well on the live stream from what I've seen. I'm really excited to watch this one back because I was so proud of this show for the weekend. I thought it was really great.
Chloe says sassy Mickey Jo is the best thing. And then there's a comment underneath saying, haven't watched yet, but so happy to see two of my interests combined in your theme park theatre vlogs. Yeah, so Mickey's dropped two different ones, which follows us and going from a theme park to a West End show in the same day. And if you're like planning trips to the UK or to London, and you're like those two interests are together, you can do both in the same day.
Because those theme parks are ostensibly outside of London, so people may wonder how easy is it to spend all day at Legoland or spend all day at Chessington.
And we did spend all day there.
We were there for almost all of their opening hours, and then went to see West End shows 2 nights in a row. So it is doable.
And we weren't running.
We weren't running. No, we were too tired to run. But yes, thank you for saying it. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the live streaming of the live shows. And yeah, that's all the staff being brilliant. Like, we had a conversation beforehand where I was like, do you need me to stand in certain places? Because they were like asking me where I was going to be during the show. And I was like, oh, you tell me. It's like, there's somewhere I can't go. They're like, no, you can go anywhere. We just, they just followed me around. And I was presumably very unhelpful, and they did a great job. Do you plan on seeing the Les Mis World Tour? It was absolutely incredible. I'm a huge Les Mis fan.
I'm really intrigued.
Question is where? Because we love to travel to theatre these days. Where do we go to see it? I don't know. I had a great time at your show on Sunday. Thank you so much. It was so great to meet you both. Oh, it was lovely to meet you too. Thank you for coming. Everyone was lovely. It was lovely meeting everyone. It was a really nice fact, and it was nice seeing people chatting to each other who hadn't met before.
Yeah,
as well. Theatre community. This is what we're trying to do. The West End late 2024 to early 2025 period is ridiculously busy. It is.
There's a lot of long runners, and then it's a lot of plays.
It is a lot of plays. It is a lot.
There's only a couple of musicals really opening in that period of time.
Yeah. Yes, Grace, we saw the Gwyneth Paltrow Ski Trial musical at the Fringe, and it was fun, and it was campy, and it was like a nice change of pace from other stuff we were seeing at the Fringe. I thought it was kind of inessential. I don't know that it has, and you can argue about whether or not this is important for a campy parody musical. Yeah. I think it has nothing to say specifically, but the performance is good. And weirdly, Tori Allen Martin's character, who is Kristen, the lawyer, becomes the central character. Yeah. Unexpectedly. There's some bangers in there.
I'm fascinated by how it feels in the West End.
Yeah.
Because it felt very Fringe. So I'm intrigued. I'd be intrigued to know what that feels like for like you and everybody.
It's campy, it's fun. I can't bring myself to be mad at it. I just think it's a bit pointless, for lack of a better word. But, you know, there's creativity and work has gone into everything you see on a stage. Yeah. Cast are fab. I just don't think I'm a little bit fatigued of these like social media moments that get turned into shows. Yeah. Because there's never enough mileage.
I think you nailed something there, which is we're engaged. So that was hilarious because they said these two look like they're in love. I'm like, you're engaged.
We're engaged to be wed. Don't ask us when.
Yeah, I don't. That's true. Theatre. Yeah, I think the thing is right, like with I Wish You Well, is because it's such a short run and so last minute it was announced. They've not paid for any physical marketing. So unless you're at the theatre, you would not know that musical was on, other than if you're looking online.
This is about I Wish You Well as well. Because I asked how this person found it. They said it was good, a bit hard to hear the dialogue, and only an hour, which felt very quick. I wonder, is there an appetite for this at the moment? Is there a demand for shorter shows? Because some people I speak to, and they don't want to pay West End ticket prices for really short shows. Some people still begrudge 6 only being 70 minutes. Aaron proposed in Disneyland. Are there people who now, especially people who go to the theatre a lot, are there a lot of people who are wanting shorter shows?
Yeah. Well, I think people like the idea of being able to, like our friends who, like Kate, etc., who come to the trips, and probably people across the country who come across or internationally, you want to kind of be able to fit as many shows as you can into a trip.
Yeah. I would also rather see 3-hour shows with 2 intermissions. We saw a 1-hour 40 play with no intermission the other day, and it's a light comedy, one person, and that was like, if it's intense, I can do an intense 100 minutes, but a comedy 100 minutes in a theatre without armrests, I was like, I can't do 100 minutes without armrests. I need armrests. for that long. But yes, Kate, I agree. The show we were talking about before, someone asked, was I Wish You Well, the Gwyneth Paltrow
Ski Trial musical.
What are you both currently most looking forward to seeing next year? 3, 2, 1. Titanic. I thought you were going to say Titanic.
It's not next year. We probably might see it for the first time next year. But
are you looking forward to seeing it next year?
Yes, but I'm excited to possibly see it this year.
Okay.
But also, I haven't processed that fully. Next year, the English adapted version of Hercules, to see how much it really has changed.
Just because there's questions about like what this version, because it's metamorphosizing from Paper Mill to Hamburg now to London. What's it going to be? So there is considerable intrigue there. I agree.
But otherwise, there's not actually that many musicals that have been announced for London next year.
No.
Plays have been, but musicals
possibly shucked at Regent's Park.
Yeah, but this is the thing. There's just a lot of questions. I mean, I can answer. London Road.
Oh,
I don't know if I'll love it. I don't know if I hate it. I just know that it happened so many times and I missed it every time. And I want to say that I watched it because it feels like one of those British musicals that everybody wants to talk about. And I feel very removed from the conversation. So
I saw it.
See? So it's kind of one of those where I just want to say that I saw it and I don't think we'll see it again.
Yeah.
Because this is like Bruno's bringing it back because he loves it and he did it there and it's like symbolizing his period at the National.
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't see it, this is like a reprieve I've been given to actually see it, and I need to take that so I get to see it.
Didn't see the Children's Inquiry at the Southwark Playhouse.
But I remember hearing a lot about it.
Heard great things.
Yeah. Oh wait, I know what he means.
Yeah, Brian, your speech to text always makes me feel like I need to see a neurologist. Robert Horn is working on getting a work visa for England next summer.
Well, because Hercules as well, though.
Hercules and Shucked. Yeah. Yes, I did a YouTube video of Rocky Horror very recently. That is where you know me from. Hello. Oh, your sister and yourself watched the live stream of the live show on Sunday. We loved it. Can't wait to see the next one in person. Can't wait to meet you at the next one in person. How exciting. And Dan John says, OMG, hey, thoughts on the Little Shop casting in Sheffield?
I'm really excited. Georgina's going to be an incredible Audrey.
Georgina Onwara, I am happy to see on a press release any day of the week. She's going to be fab. I love that it's a super diverse cast. Yay for Sheffield. There was another exciting name in there as well. Sam Buttery, Audrey 2.
Yes, that's Audrey 2.
Fun, very fun.
Sam as the MC was incredible in Paris, so already know I'm going to be fab.
Yes, Josh, lots of new casting shows opening, US tours kicking off. 'Tis the most wonderful time of the year. Any day now we'll be getting Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 casting.
That's going to be the big talk about the show.
Yeah, musical. I think we're going to see lots of prestigious musical theatre names, some Les Mis alumni maybe.
I'm intrigued by Come Alive. We've just seen this.
Oh yes,
I'm really intrigued. Are we going to go and see it? I'd like to.
I think I like Circus. Circus is so adjacent to magic, which scares me.
But I feel like it's easier to watch that because it's linked to.
No, I have an irrational fear of magic on stage.
But I'm excited about it because I've always had a thing with clowns. Whereas I feel like this is a lot easier to watch because it's the Greatest Showman linked version of Cirque. And I kind of want to go to understand how they bring Greatest Showman to the stage and what they do. And then
I didn't realize there was a narrative.
Well, there's because Simon Bowman's the host and there are a couple of characters, it seems, as well as the Cirque performers.
Not Simon Bowman, it's the other one. But I get him confused. Simon Bowman was from the original cast of Les Mis.
No, yeah, I mean...
It's the Moulin Rouge,
Rouge,
Duke, Jersey Boys, Phantom. He's really talented, and I can't remember... There's new characters for coming. Simon Bailey. Thank you, Stage and Rebecca.
Thank you.
You bailed us out. New characters. There you go.
I think everybody's helping.
Everyone's
Thank
now
you.
signing up, sounding off.
Thank you.
Bailey.
Yeah, circus is an odd one. I've never been like somebody that's had a calling to watch circus because there's so many like.
You haven't had the circus calling.
But I really loved Water for Elephants for the circ elements, so that's kind of changed me a lot.
Do you remember me watching Water for Elephant? I'm a quiet audience member.
Yeah, you
I
are
do not
very
vocally
silent.
respond.
No, but that show got you talking.
Oh,
you like shocked moments. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Every time that they just, you'd be like, oh my gosh.
Hello, Jared Klein. I just watched the bootleg video of the 1980s Merrily We Roll Along on YouTube. Good job, whomever thought to do that. I'm wondering how he snuck the camera in. That's what I always wonder about these.
Back
really
in the day,
old,
one Joe.
Like, those were camcorders. Those were like,
Hi, Ellen.
who is not noticing this in the orchestra? Hi, Ellen. Odd question. What Cats characters would you both want to play or relate with most, Mr. Mistopheles? I want to be Mr. Mistopheles. I'm scared of magic on stage, but I will never be Mr. Mistopheles. I'm not a dancer. I want to be Mr. Mistopheles. How about you? What cat do you relate to?
Munkerstrap.
Leadership.
Mm.
Main character energy.
Mm.
I don't actually relate to Mistopheles. I just want to be Mistopheles. I'm quite Skimbleshanks-esque. He likes the railway trains, as do I. You're a bit rum-tum-tuggerish. Capricious. Like, attractive as well, but also like, very like, gets offered fish and is like, I don't want that. I want that other thing.
Oh, how to make like a dig rather than a kind comment. It was just a little dig.
There was both in there.
No. It was you said the first one was going to carry on and then was like, oops.
Questions.
I wonder how many are here. Ellen, hope you're feeling better. Hope you feel better soon. I hope this is some fun.
Andrea says a theatre ticket costs max $1.90 here in Toronto, and given the Canadian exchange rate, I think that's probably only about 100 British pounds.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, something around that.
Way lower than ours are, and definitely not lower than New York. Did you read a recent New Yorker article about Ken? I can't pronounce that surname. A producer of Fleetwood Mac's Rumours album, seeing Stereophonic and saw many similarities to his memoir. I haven't, but I'll give that a read because I'm interested. Could you give us a mini review of Lacage at Regent's Park from last year? I saw the vlog of your visit, but sadly no review. It was right at the end of the run, and I don't necessarily review if we haven't been invited to review, or if I haven't been invited to review. I enjoyed it. It was lovely. There was some very nice performances. I kind of realized I don't love Lacage as a show, and I don't know.
You have such a connection to the Birdcage.
I love The Birdcage, which is a film based on the same play that Lacage is adapted from. They share the same source material. I don't think Lacage hits the emotional beats as well. And it's got, if we're being honest, 2 great songs, and it reprises one of them. Hot take. I don't know.
Oh, that's a very good question, Solilo. If you could bring back 5 musicals to the West End, what would they be?
Can I say In the Heights, even though it wasn't really West End?
Yeah.
In the Heights at the King's Cross Theatre, which no longer exists, so that would be challenging.
Amelie.
A great idea.
Well, also they said bring back 5 musicals. That doesn't mean
City of Angels at the Garrick.
The original production of Rent.
Sweeney Todd with Michael Ball and Imelda Staunton.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Just because it's quite fresh, 2 strangers carry cake across New York.
The Inheritance.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Boom. What a lovely West End we've just designed for ourselves.
Yeah.
You've got 2 shows both in the Criterion Theatre, so I don't know what you're doing. I was literally like...
That's fine. I can think of many theatres that Amelie would work in.
For MusicalCon this year, I have booked Jacob Fowler's masterclass, lovely Jacob Fowler, Erin Caldwell's masterclass, brilliant Erin Caldwell, and Jodie Steele's workshop.
Ooh, fun trio.
Sounds...
that sounds like a lot of fun.
It sounds amazing. I can tell I'm nearly 30 because I was like, that sounds like a lot on the knees. And on my best day, I could not do Jodie Steele's workshop. I know for a fact I'm reduced to dust.
Brian, I don't understand what you mean by it. I think I just bought a co-op.
That's property in America. Here it's a supermarket. It's a co-op. It's like co-owned.
We have co-op. That is a supermarket. That's why I'm confused.
No, it's property there. It's like an apartment. It's like a new. Like a sublet, like a co-op. I think something.
I'm very confused.
Yes, Simon Bowman was the original Chris in the Saigon. Yes. Yada, 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 yada.
I haven't even heard that rumor, Brian.
Thoughts on the rumor that Guys and Dolls and Cats are going to rep off Broadway next summer? As in our Guys and Dolls? As in,
because they're very different types of staging and they need very different things.
Yeah. Would Guys and Dolls work at PAC, at the Perelman Performing Arts Centre where Cats was? It'd be very expensive to install.
I was just going to say, it's high up, so the hydraulics probably are easier to put in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm going to just be back in 5 seconds.
Okie dokie. I will keep you all entertained. Hello, everybody. Yes, excited to see Stephanie and Jack as Bert and Mary and the Mary Poppins UK tour. And also excited to see the brilliant supporting cast. There's so much recycling behind me. I need to take down. Apologies for my recycling. I'm going to try and catch up on YouTube and TikTok comments. Who do you think will be playing Joseph? I have no idea. Probably a grad. I feel like they'll probably go for a grad. Who do you think will be playing Joseph? Let's start a rumor right here, right now. Would be great if you visited Washington, D.C. There is regional theatre in, is that Maryland? And Virginia too. There you go. There you go. I'm in New York for a wedding at the end of October when Death Becomes Her open, but we can't fit in. Oh no. Will you be seeing it? Yes. Yes, definitely. Do you think Joy Woods will do all aspects of Louise, including when she was a child? No, they'll do the same thing where they have children and then they'll age during the time jump sequence. So excited to see Carolee Carmelo as Kimberly in the Akimbo US tour.
So excited.
Very jealous. So Our Town this afternoon, lovely production online for Hills of California. Enjoy Hills of California. We really loved that. Good evening, Amy. I'm still puzzled why The Notebook will only close in December when half the biggest stars leave 2 months before and they are losing money every week. They also close right before the tourist bump. Brian, our friend Brian, has talked about that on TikTok because that's for tax reasons, I believe, as to why they're closing before the tourist bump. And I don't know that they are. I think it's the idea that they're losing money every week, not speculative. I don't think we know for a fact they're losing money every week. Every time we say like that show must be losing money, that show is presumably losing money.
I noticed Dylan has a good scene when the things have come out when I've watched his videos.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. This is not something we engage with a lot because they don't have it here in the UK.
Yeah, and I also feel like with Notebook closing, it's more because when it was the Social Club already had the theatre and they needed the right period of time to change over and where they want to be for the Tony season when they wanted to open. It's just meant that that's kind of forced that closure to happen then.
Yeah. Kate says, very curious how they're going to do the time jump with the race aspect of the Gypsy revival. I'm really intrigued to see the choices they make in the Gypsy revival. Can we pose for a screenshot? Did you get it? I hope you got it. Very curious to see a lot of the choices they make in the Gypsy revival. Back to the thing about the Notebook. With the most respect to those performers, I think they're huge rising stars. John Cardoza and Jordan and Joy are all amazing. I don't think they affect the box office as much as we think they do from within the theatre bubble.
Yeah.
To tourists, to people on the street, they don't know those names. Sadly, they should. But I don't know that they do.
Yes, I think Illinois could come to the... I don't know about West End, but I think London, yes. I can see it going to Sadler's Wells or South Bank Centre of the Barbican, one of the places that's known for dance, because we have those massive venues that work perfectly for it and would fit perfectly. We didn't see Cake, sadly.
Didn't see Cake.
I'm really gutted because I really liked the cast recording and wanted to see if I liked this production more than I liked the stage concert version of the lyric. But it's tricky when it's like finding time that we've got free because we've put it like crazy times to fit things in.
Yeah, and we did enjoy Nottingham. We enjoyed our time in Nottingham.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Very much. We went to see Batman's house.
Yeah, we went and saw deer. Tons of deer.
Oh, the vlog about that. We did a whole vlog. It's probably coming to my YouTube channel this weekend. Yeah, a vlog of us going to Nottingham to go see non-replica Dear Evan Hansen and exploring a brand new place for us to see theatre.
Yeah.
And doing Dear Evan Hansen-esque activities. And I'll let you speculate as to what the heck that might mean. That will probably be Saturday or Sunday here on YouTube. Make sure you've got those notifications turned on.
Do I think Two Strangers will go on tour one day? You know what? I've had to sit and think about this more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, I think that America's like, well, two things. One, I think America has been their, like, has publicly been said is their next focus. But the other thing that I was like, oh, I don't know about is obviously there's a Revolve. It would need to be fully restaged to do the type of venues that that show.
My finger's still up.
Come on.
No, you can finish.
Just that it's unlikely that kind of, to make the production cost less, would need to be figured out a different way of staging it for the tours and for the type of theatres that I could see it going to, because it can't do like what Hamilton did and do a very long run.
Can I disagree?
Yeah.
I disagree because Hamilton is a big flat stage with a Revolve in the middle. Two Strangers is all played on this Revolve that they put on top of the stage at the Kiln. Then they put it on top of the stage at the Criterion. I don't know that it would be that difficult for them to put it on top of another stage.
Okay.
It's just a big revolving disc. It's not built into anything beneath. They don't have to build out the whole stage. It's just this thing they plonk on top.
I didn't think it was on top of the stage at either one of those. I think the stage was just rebuilt for it.
No, it was on top of the stage.
Okay.
Because you could see the whole thing going around, and it was above, and it came out in front of it.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
They didn't go off it. They spent the whole time on the circle. Because I'm thinking about when we went to that gala at the Criterion, they didn't go on or off of it. The whole thing was spent on the circle.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Thoughts on Vinnie Jones in Only Fools and Horses? Comedy. Utter comedy.
Hi.
Hello, Mickey. Since you've made a video where you talked about Disney's stage production of Hercules, would you like to make a video about their long-running production of The Lion King? What do you want to hear me say about The Lion King? Because I'm open to it. The Lion King is playing in so many countries. I want to do a video where I'm like, I spend a whole week going around Europe seeing The Lion King every day in a different country. I can talk about I can review The Lion King now, but no matter what I say, it's one of the most seen musicals worldwide. It's one of the most successful musicals ever. Are there things dramaturgically about it that I question? Sure, but it's also the most creative Disney to stage adaptation. The legacy of that show is huge. The talent it's employed over the years is huge. So it feels a bit pointless to talk about it in any kind of a critical capacity.
There's more just fun things we can do in seeing it in different countries. And
that's what I want to do, is just talk about how wild it is that Lion King is everywhere.
Sorry, I was just giggling at Ellen's sassy comment. And notice how I just came to TikTok to chat because I knew Mickey would be so far behind on YouTube comments.
I thought I was doing quite well today.
I see, Rebecca, I agree. I think because and the reason I think like this is because of Come From Away. Watching the tour.
Oh yeah.
And seeing how they it's a replica production but without the Revolve, and it still works so well.
I think
I like some of the changes of how they've done things. And I kind of think the same with Two Strangers. It's moments that they do it with, but really the Revolve, there's alternatives. I love what it's meant to reference and what it's meant to be. I'd be intrigued what that could open.
That would be I would love a non-replica, just a different production of Two Strangers, because the material is lovely. But I love the Revolve. It's not just it's a Revolve, it's a snow globe. I love that the
Yeah.
set of this one is a snow globe.
And then it's the baggage carousel at the airport.
Yeah, it's all sorts of things. How do you think Mincemeat will do on Broadway? That's a conversation that I'm going to have here in a longer video, because I'm perplexed as to what is even going on right now with Operation Mincemeat. I want nothing but success for that show. I want nothing but success for those creators and for those cast members. I want it to be this huge, huge hit. It deserves to be. It's brilliant. What I don't understand, and I'll say this briefly.
Okay, just said we are all confused.
I'll talk about it in a longer video. The slow, careful, cautious path that they forged from off West End to the smallest West End theatre, where they were like, new diorama, which is tiny, smaller space in Southwark Playhouse, tiny, larger space in Southwark Playhouse, Riverside Studios, and then the Fortune, small. I don't get the jump to then be like, right, let's now go to a country where we have no cultural capital and go straight into the biggest house the show has ever played in immediately. And this is why they're like dealing with, do we take the original cast over or do we stunt cast it? You can't faithfully stunt cast a show like Mincemeat. Huge, like you're limited in the number of options. You can bring in like comedians and SNL alumni. How many seats is the Fortune?
I was going to look. It's
none of us have phones. Hold on.
Are we still?
Fortune,
Yeah, we are still supposedly.
Fortune Theatre capacity 432. 432.
432.
Yeah, Fortune's right for Stager Rebecca's here with the fact checking. Thank you, Rebecca. Much appreciated. Yeah, if they went off Broadway, I think they could take this cast. Hi, Ben.
Ben just joined.
I don't know why they don't go off Broadway. I don't know why no one wants to go off Broadway first. How did Dance in Ohio? Why did you not go off Broadway?
Jonathan, I haven't seen a Broadway journal thing. Intrigued.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, Jonathan, send us a message. Clue us in. Yeah, new Why Am I So Single?
Yeah.
Why Am I So Single? The single from Why Am I So Single?
The demo.
That drops tonight at midnight UK time. Do you think Mincemeat have got a bit ahead of themselves? Yes. Either they're doing something so genius none of us understand it, or it's that. So I want them to do really well on Broadway, but they're trying to open a no-name show with a no-name cast, with no cultural capital. They've created an uphill battle for themselves needlessly.
Thank you, Jared, for the super chat.
Oh, thank you. Hey guys, the other day I went to see Water for Elephants and was wondering when your review would come out. This is the thing again, like with Lacage, where I was not invited explicitly to review Water for Elephants, so I haven't. I don't have wildly controversial things to say about it. I enjoyed it. The score isn't particularly strong, but that's not really necessary to the storytelling of the show. I thought it was pretty beautiful. I really enjoyed the cast. I thought it was quite lovely, and I articulated as much in our New York vlog while we were there. But I would like to do a review of Water for Elephants, but I'd quite like to see it again beforehand. So might try and catch it again on our next New York trip, which is coming up soon. Just got home from seeing the Wicked tour in Sunderland. Did you see the evening or the matinee? Because Madison was on for the matinee, and I'm curious as to how she is.
A point about this. So Bradley Richards, I wouldn't call stunt casting for Babies. I would say clever casting, because one, Bradley was really good in Babies, really enjoyed, but also had already been in musicals.
If you can sing and you can kick your leg over your head, I don't think that's stunt casting.
Yeah. And had done theatre before.
Yeah.
Like had done theatre things before. So I'm like, just was really good.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it was really good. We used the term stunt casting too liberally.
Yeah.
I want Operation Mincemeat to tour Australia before Broadway. I feel like Aussies will get it more.
Aussies have a bigger connection because of the British ties. And British humour, there's more.
Yeah.
There's more recent, I think, like.
Yeah, I just want them to build and cultivate an audience the same way they did here. Yeah. Basically, they were really smart. They were such a great case study in London. They did such a great job getting to the West End, and every decision since then has been wildly different. The West End pricing structure, the group discounts, everything they've done since has been insane.
So yeah, the emails as well. Like we were speaking today, all the past couple of days to our American friends, and like it's not being spoken about in America, only in the UK about it. So
Yeah.
then how does that help anything?
The emails are just confusing British people. They don't seem to be reaching outside of an immediate bubble
Ashley's
of people in America. Ashley's here. Hey, Ashley. Yada, 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 yada. Where am I going to? Hello from Detroit, Michigan. I don't know. I know that's in America. I don't know where.
Oh, I'm so excited for Shocked.
Quick.
If it is true.
Yes. Do you think Alex will come over to do it? No, I think it's going to be an all British cast. Do you know why Two Strangers finished? Just because it was just a limited run.
It was a limited run, and also, and like, I feel like it had to have been a show that was selling like at a crazy amount for it to have extended, and other shows like Titanic had already for ages had already got like a marketing team planned and everything, so they were just finalizing the theatre.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to speed through a whole page of YouTube comments. Quick question. I want to watch The Death of England plays on NT at home. However, sometimes I don't do well with shows without interval. How did you find watching 3 intense plays? I really enjoyed it. It was a lot, but that's also the beauty of NT at home, is you can pause it whenever you want, right? Is Lion King the musical coming next year? Lion King is already everywhere. How did you find what? Oh, that's it. These are questions people talking to each other. I really don't care how. This is where I was talking about length. I really don't care how long the musicals are, especially Wicked. You can't change Hamilton, Moulin Rouge, and Wicked run times. Well, yes, yeah. What are your priority shows when you come to NYC? Everything new, particularly the new musicals. Death Becomes Her, maybe Happy Ending. We've heard great things about Yellowface. I would quite like to see Cabaret again, to see the new leads. Yes, we're looking forward to the Wicked movie.
Forward to the Wicked movie.
Very excited about it.
Very excited.
What do you think of Philip Schofield coming back to TV? That's super outside of my lane, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I am not Mickey Jo, public controversy. I did see him in Dr. Dolittle as a small child. That's my only comment there.
Literally everybody has said how good the new leads are in Cabaret, and this is people that are friends that haven't always loved Cabaret. So I'm like,
there you
wow.
go. Loved your video about Rocky Horror. If you're going to pitch a Jellicle Ball style restaging of it, how would you do it? I would love for Rocky Horror to have gone where Priscilla the Party was here at Outernet, because they were trying to make it more like Rocky Horror. Yeah, some kind of an immersive nightclub space like that, where there is a bar on the same level, and that's more nightclubby than Jellicle Ball. Jellicle Ball was still mostly Sat Cabaret, classy. I want something where you can actually dance, where you're actually close to it. I was reading some of the comments on that video about the old productions of Rocky Horror, where the stage is tiny and they're just in this little intimate space. It's far too spread out and sparse now. I want something much more immediate.
Yes, Ellen, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Do you only review if you have been invited? Not necessarily. Sometimes if I really want to review something, but I have to prioritize the ones that I've been invited to review, because that's my job. And if I start reviewing regardless of that, then they don't need to invite me.
Jonathan, we saw Jordan and Maya together. That was when we last saw Hadestown.
Yes. We have seen
really
Jordan
good.
Fisher and Hadestown. We have had that biblical experience.
And Kate's at Cabaret again tomorrow. I'm intrigued what Kate thinks, because we know how you feel, Kate.
Yeah. Why does the West End have more limited musicals and plays? That's a good question. I think because Broadway can't financially justify a limited run, things have to run for a longer amount of time in order to recoup, because the initial investment is so much more. So it's more financially viable to do a limited run here in the UK. And so that's just the way that the industry then moves. There's also much more crossover in the UK, with certainly in plays, with actors who do theatre and actors who do film and screen work. And so their availability dictates limited run time schedules, like Tom Holland only being available for that short amount of time. And Brie Larson, these are big movie stars, but
there's also just producers have a lot of plans with shows.
Yeah.
Timings and stuff. Plays particularly only can really sell limited runs in the UK.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just sometimes it's just gaps. Sometimes big musicals that are going to do long runs have are booked in a year in advance, then they're filling that gap in the middle.
How do the numbers compare of like the number of like tourists who come to London versus who go to New York? Do we have just like fewer people to sustain a lot of shows? Does the turnover just need to be a little bit more?
No, I think it's the other way around.
Is it?
Because we have all of Europe, but also if you look at how many long runners we have compared to Broadway,
Well, we
have
do.
a lot more.
We do, and we both have things like Wicked.
You think
houses.
like Mamma Mia closed on Broadway is still here?
True.
Phantom closed on Broadway, still here.
True.
Les Mis closed on Broadway, still here. Matilda.
Ben, we are going to try and see that because the cast. Cast.
Crazy. I think Why Am I So Single is good for Mother Daughter because we know
we know Mother Daughter who
saw it.
loved it.
Yeah.
They forgot to remove the cloth covering Glinda's shoe rack in Popular. There you go. You've seen a one-of-a-kind show. I'm going to New York for the first time in April, says Theatre Izzy. Have you heard any Broadway rumours of anything existing that might be coming up for that time? A lot of stuff will have opened in April.
Yeah. There'll be basically all the new season will be there that's trying to...
Yeah, I think Smash and Boop.
Yeah,
and
there'll be a lot of cool things.
Yeah, lots will have opened by April. Not necessarily anything that hasn't yet been announced. Maybe like a last minute
Only if there
play.
were like... Or if there's things that close early.
Yeah. But that's a good time to go.
Yeah.
What is this about? Oh, it's about Philip Schofield. You have that chat amongst yourselves. Sounds on Stage asks, "Hey, Erin and Mickey, how are you both?" We're good.
Thank you.
We're good. We've had a nice day at my mother's birthday lunch.
Yeah.
With my family. Very nice. Is Jersey Boys ever coming back to London? It only just left. Probably at some point. I'm not a huge fan of the show.
No, not me.
It's been in many London theatres. It's toured everywhere. It will at some point. Yes, the answer, regrettably, is yes.
Rebecca, I feel like sooner rather than later. When do you think the Sometimes Old Friends cast will drop? Because
when is it starting?
Well, it starts in LA though first.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we get more of it before Christmas. I think we'll get more of the names before Christmas.
Yeah, because they'll want people to.
They'll want the buzz to go before it. Yeah,
as Christmas presents.
They'll want it, and they'll want it to feel like kind of this prestige. And I feel like you need to do the prestige thing further in advance, and maybe you do with other things.
Very intrigued to see who else they have. Please come see Mary Poppins in Dublin. You both would love the theatre. Would love to. That's big bucket list territory. USA tours want people to pay minimum $80 for nosebleed seats. What's $80 in English money? UK tours are getting up towards that as well. Not everywhere, and not every tour.
Oh, that's a shame, Katie. I live in Blackpool and a lot of shows are being cancelled because of sales at the minute. It's such a shame.
That is a shame.
No, you don't really hear about UK touring circuit. You don't really hear about when shows cancelled.
Yeah.
Kind of gets lost in the mix.
Have you heard the rumour that Evita is coming to the West End in 2025? Why, yes, we have.
Ben, you're a Jersey Boy stan.
Ben,
is this because of like connection to Frankie Valli and like the Four Seasons being an American? Did you listen to it growing up? I'm intrigued.
Ben,
Michael, be that.
Pretty baby. Yeah, I have nothing to say to that. Someone defend Jersey Boys to me in the comments. I dare you.
We're gonna get a Starlight Express cast recording these very soon because they put a massive tease on socials today.
Yeah. Someone just asked any update on Finding Neverland. Gary Barlow is personally out there looking at theatres, and they wanted a really big one, but they're not getting that one. I don't know beyond that, but I've heard something may be coming next summer. Ben just has taste, clearly. Stage Rebecca, I know you love the Jersey Boys. If they changed the beginning, I might have less of an issue with it. I'm also not a big fan of the middle or the end, but it's the beginning where they start with this, like, this song was on the top of the French charts as if they need to justify the enduring success of that music. And it's like, we're all here at the theatre because of the you don't have to justify it with this weird French, like, le soirée là, like, why are we doing that?
We haven't seen it yet, Marcus, but I've only seen good things about that show.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to.
I fear Sufs will be closing soonish. They aren't selling ticks past the first week of January. I I don't. How do American on sales work?
I don't know how many shows are like selling it into 2026.
Yeah, I think their lifespan may be tethered to the election results.
Yeah, I could see that.
Really glad to see this live
could
stream. The
see-
hurricane is heading towards us, and we're all pretty stressed. Oh, I'm very sorry about that. Thoughts with everybody
Sending
in
love to
Florida right
Florida.
now. Sending love to you all. Hoping everyone is staying safe. Take care of yourselves.
I think Mean Girls will probably do a West End cast recording. I can't remember if they've announced it or not.
I think something has been said that they
Maybe.
are.
But they must. But there's so many changes that I think they will.
I think they've teased that they
Yeah.
are. I'm sure something's happened. Yeah. Was lucky to see Rachel Tucker in concert in Dublin the other week. We saw that concert when she went to Newbury. Wicked was coincidingly in town, so we got treated to As Long As You're Mine with Carl Mann, the Tour Fiero. Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Water for Elephants may be the next show to close, not selling well at all. It may be, but I don't love speculating about closing shows.
Sean said, would you consider seeing more drama school productions?
With all the time in the world, yes. And of some shows, there's some shows that, and sometimes it's really fun to see a drama school production because of like the creative choices, and the talent is always immense.
And so nice of creative teams as well, because it's like up and coming directors often that are doing great things, and you get to see more of their skills.
There's a lot of things like people tend to ask me like, am I going to go see this like Sondheim musical that's being done at a drama school? And for the most part, there's a lot of Sondheim musicals that are about like people in middle age reckoning with the realities of their lives that I don't need to see 22-year-olds doing, just because I don't think the nuance will be there. There's nothing against them, but like there's only so much that you can play when you're 22. Like Company just doesn't hit the same, and Follies and Night Music aren't going to hit the same.
But we do get to hear a lot about most of them because of our friend, if you didn't know, Sean, aka Theatre Fan,
goes to all the drama school shows and says great things.
Yeah.
Do you think How to Dance in Ohio would ever have a West End transfer? It is allegedly coming to the UK. We haven't heard more about that, but UK, not West End. So they announced UK plans. How do you think Mincemeat will do on Broadway? We have answered that one. Do you think if and when Beetlejuice comes to the UK, it'll be a replica or a non-replica? Right now, I think they're still looking to bring the replica over. It might be a little bit smaller. It might be like the touring version, but yeah.
We're hoping to see the Les Mis staged concert Caroline, hopefully.
Hello from a train. Just been to a concert at the Royal Albert Hall for a bargain, £15. American classics including West Side Story, Candide, An American in Paris, and Carousel. Tobias Turley was performing in that. I saw that on his Instagram. Any predictions for future cabaret casts, London or NYC? Lily Collins is doing a play in the West End called Barcelona with ATG, and I think if a relationship builds there, she'd be a great Sally Bowles. Yeah. We need Emily in Paris in cabaret.
Did you prefer Bonnie and Clyde over the Arts or the Garrick?
At the
Arts, I think.
I didn't love the changes they made to the show for the Garrick. Both casts were great, but the Arts.
Actually, no current date speculation really for Beetlejuice. It's so difficult to say because it needs a certain size theatre.
Yeah. Everything we know about Broadway transfers, I've put in a video on my YouTube channel the other day where I do divulge some things that aren't being talked about elsewhere, and at least one Broadway musical that's getting, we believe, a regional non-replica production in the UK this year that hasn't yet been announced. You can go and watch that on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to tell you here.
We all want a West End next to normal cast recording, but at least it's been pro-shot, so there's a way that all those fat will be kept.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe they'll clip it down into a cast recording if they get the go-ahead.
Yeah. Which one recording for Broadway show would you like to watch in the New York Public Library? Oh, that is a good question. The original Angels in America, maybe. The original Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Those are completely different answers. Aida, again, another different answer. I could be here all day. Assassins, the Assassins Broadway revival. That one. The Sunday in the Park with George Broadway revival with Jenna and Daniel. It's
really difficult for you to know how well Hercules will do over here because we saw the German production, so we've seen like the kind of the Casey Nicola vision and where it's heading. But because it was all in German, and German theatre goers have a different sensibility with like a different type of musical theatre that they seem to go towards.
Yeah.
It's difficult to know really until it comes here. I mean, there's so much love for Disney musicals in the UK, and when you look at how long Aladdin's run and Hercules, like Aladdin's run and The Lion King and Aladdin touring right now has done really well, but who knows?
Yeah. Are you watching Strictly this year? No, we don't have a lot of TV watching time. We tend to try and catch up on things from streaming. We're watching Only Murders in the Building. We've just finished Emily in Paris. We're watching Agatha All Along. And we watch YouTube.
Yes.
In light of Cake, do you think it has a future or do you think it's not going to happen? Give it time. They may try again, but it's had a bunch of developmental runs and it's kept changing a lot. So I think it's still evolving as to what the show even is.
Grace, we saw Cable Street at the other Playhouse, but we haven't seen it at the new one. So I'm not sure how much has changed. But I haven't actually heard much about
No, I've seen good things. Horror on stage, yay or nay? Surely there should be a few more horror productions given theatre is such an immediate medium. Not my thing, not our thing, not really. And not something that they really know how to get right. There's a lot of like plays that market themselves as horror that are just doing thrillers.
Yeah.
Which is a different thing. And they're just doing like psychological thriller with occasional really loud screams to try and make you jump. Like there's not enough people doing horror well on stage for those people that really want that. Surprised not
I
to
don't
see.
know. Sorry. I don't know who the new Persephone or Hades is, and it's got to be announced very, very soon.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see the same thing as like with Maddie.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I got to catch up on some of these.
Yeah.
Surprised not to see you at the Broadway flea market. We were still in London.
And you had your show?
I was performing my live show on the same day. I can see Hell's Kitchen transferring to the West End. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. I could see Hell's Kitchen in the West End.
I think it maybe needs to be like slight. It might have to do what some of the musicals have done and slightly tweaks of it. It works for UK audiences that don't know New York that well.
Some references would need to be explained. Yeah. Love horror on stage problems. It has to be done right. Hey, both of you. It was nice to see you. Many people want a revival of Beauty and the Beast on Broadway. I don't know if the version that it's possibly going to be, which would be the current US tour version, the one that was in the UK.
That would be that's the one that's touring the US and did Australia. It would be that one
that people want. But we need an Aida revival first, says Dan John.
They tried to start it, and then it was meant to go to London, but it didn't do well in the Netherlands.
The Aida revival seems to fall apart, and it's a tricky show to do now for a whole handful of reasons. I think we may never see Aida again without extensive rewrites. I mean, just the whole concept of the show is challenging now, I think, which is a shame because music's really great. Looking forward to Musical Con. I'm thinking of going to see Beetlejuice when it comes to London and go near Halloween if it is on then next year. I'm going to watch both films, old and new. Enjoy. I haven't seen either. Never seen a Beetlejuice film. It is tough to get off-Broadway theatres now. It hasn't been. All year there's a lot of off-Broadway theatres that have been dark. When House Dance in Ohio was on Broadway, Stage 42 was dark at that time. So I don't know about that. Just got back from my birthday trip to London. Amazing. What did you see? Have you seen The Stand by George Washington, Marquis de Lafayette, Thomas Jefferson, and Aaron Burr in Hamilton? His portrayal of Burr was the best performance I've seen in the show. Did we see him? I don't know. I don't think so.
Is that on the tour?
Yeah, which Hamilton production is that? Is that in the US or the UK? Because we've never seen Hamilton in the US. And haven't seen it in London for a long time.
Warhorse is a very good play.
Love Warhorse. Love a bit of Warhorse.
Very cleverly put together.
Do you think Fiddler on the Roof will get a West End transfer? Was a real success at Regent's Park? There's not a lot of available theatres. It could, but it might end up getting scheduled for a little while out, like next summer at the Barbican or something like that.
After Mrs. Doubtfire is Just for One Day, the Live Aid musical.
Yes. Also produced by the same producer, Jamie Wilson, which is why Mrs. Doubtfire is ending and going to go off on tour.
Don't worry, Rebecca, we won't put any Only Murders season 4 spoilers, don't worry.
Zero spoils. I just got back from the Lehman trilogy and absolutely hated it. Tell me more as to why. I enjoyed the Lehman trilogy. I'm looking forward to seeing it again soon. Just got home from Fiddler on the Roof that was rained off. Oh, what a shame in their final. Is it now their final week?
It's nearly it. Oh, it might be. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, Grace, I'm intrigued to see what you think when you watch it this weekend. Cable Street.
Yeah. Any Disney trips planned possibly towards the end of the year, but currently nothing booked. Hello from Worcester, Massachusetts. Is that where Paulette moves at the end of Legally Blonde? We live out in Worcester. Bought a new salon. If you didn't know, because Massachusetts, because Harvard. It all makes sense. There you go. You live where Paulette moves to. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the videos.
Max, Bake Off has teased for some new news.
They have.
There's been a tease by the composing writing team.
Yeah.
So keep eyes out.
Our expectation is that we'll see the Notebook in February 2026 at the Shaftesbury Theatre.
Because just one day said limited run, and if it's actually that, and there's no way they can extend, that means that another show's booked in, and Jamie Wilson co-produced the Notebook.
Yeah, Jamie Wilson has a 10-year lease on the Shaftesbury, and he is using that to bring his shows into the West End. Hi from Suffolk. I really love your reviews. Thank you so much. That's so kind.
That's a good point. Rebecca said musicals with sketchy, questionable books should be the ones doing the concert productions. I think because then it's not. They're not focusing on the book. As
in because the score is the thing. I agree. I enjoy the concert productions that are like, oh yeah, this is a show. Like The Witches of Eastwick was so well done, and I think it's a good reminder of like, oh yeah, The Witches of Eastwick is great. We should have a revival of this.
Yeah, I think if it's of a pre-existing show, it should be to remind people of what has been kind of forgotten or lost.
Like Bonnie and Clyde's rebirth via concert was a lovely thing. Concert as a new musical launch, I find dubious. Like Wild About You doing one. There's a few coming up. I think it's an unusual way to launch a show, like somewhere at a giant West End theatre, and something that's happening uniquely in London, I think. What do you expect the Kit Connor Rachel Zegler RJ is looking like? Very contemporary, very trendy, very teenage bedroom, very Taylor Swift, very concert tour, very it's giving, very TikTok, very Gen Z, very Sabrina Carpenter.
Is this for I think the West End cast or Broadway cast? Because both are new casts.
Yes. Which cabaret? Archie Jenner. Which cabaret? Oh, I think Archie is based in the UK. So I think that's.
Oh, cool.
I think that's.
I'm intrigued.
New West End cabaret. They've been really quiet in the London cabaret about the fact that is it Catherine Langford?
Yeah.
Is the new Sally Bowles, who is the lead from the first series of 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
Like they're just like they've used her name obviously in the marketing, but they haven't really. I'm not seeing people realizing that necessarily. Maybe people do. Are people realizing that? I don't know. This is wicked. I saw the evening show in Sunderland. Was press night. Full cast was on except from Carl Mann, who has tonsillitis.
Oh, bless him.
Thoughts with Carl Mann and his tonsils. Laura still sounds great. They forgot to remove the cloth.
On the press performance. That's fun.
Yes. Maybe Happy Ending sounds amazing. Yes, intrigued about Maybe Happy Ending. I want to see Redwood and Betty Boop musical. Yes, both of those. You're coming to Footloose at the new Wolsey. It will depend
on dates.
I was going to say on who's in the cast. Because
that's true.
Footloose is
we saw it not that long ago as well.
Yeah, good people will get me to a Footloose. I'm dressed like I'm in a production of Footloose right now, but it depends who's in it. Do you think you'll see the Hills of California during your next NYC trip? If we have enough time, I would love to. They've changed bits about it, apparently, and I would love to do a 2-show day with that and Stereophonic. It's a hell of a long day. It's a hell of an emotional day, but I think it would be a vibe, and I love a vibe.
I really want to see Shifters before it closes.
Yes. How was your live show? Hope I can make it to the next one. Yes, it went really well. I'm really proud of it. Performers were brilliant, and everyone, I think, had a really nice time, and I was very pleased.
Yeah, Sam, I'm just drinking water. Sampa is strange to not see me drinking Iron Brew. That was the thing for multiple ones. Yeah, that was
post Edinburgh.
Yeah, it was keeping the spirit of Edinburgh alive.
It was keeping the spirit of Edinburgh alive. Why do most London shows run about a month? Can they make their money back? I wouldn't say most London shows run about a month. There's a few short runs, but it's only a minority of shows.
Mainly just plays.
I'd say the average limited run is like 3 months.
And to answer that question as well, it's a lot cheaper to put on a show in the West End.
Yeah.
Than Broadway. It's a lot cheaper. Chloe's question is a great one, I think, to answer, because I think there's a lot of like regional UK people that would want to hear this. Which current touring productions would you recommend for those who aren't near to London? Come From Away.
Loved the Come From Away tour. The Hamilton tour is world class. Every bit as good as the West End production.
A lot of the tours are like, we haven't seen the Anne Juliet tour yet.
I haven't seen Anne Juliet
yet.
Or
the Wicked tour yet, but I've seen a previous Wicked tour, and like they aren't near enough for West End productions. There's slight changes, but not by much. So like I think those are really exciting tours. I'm trying to think. The History Boys as a play was fun.
Yeah.
What
else have we seen on tour recently? Haven't seen 101 Dalmatians yet. Going to see that soon.
There's a lot of fun new musicals as well that are touring, like the Now That's What I Call, and like other ones. It's kind of intriguing to see so many new musicals start as a tour.
What did you guys think of the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along? Aaron has not stopped singing The Witch's Road. I'm very excited for episode 3 of Agatha All Along, because I feel like the first 2 brought us up to like, and now we're ready. And it was like a expositional.
Yeah.
And I'm now ready for us to embark on episode 3 of Agatha All Along. And I'm really intrigued about the dynamic between 2 of the characters. The Hudson does limited runs. Merrily was a longer run than their normal shows. Yeah, so does the Freedman. So does the Hayes.
Yeah.
Some of them do, usually for plays. Usually you see that for more inexpensive productions, right?
Well, then the Freedman and the Hayes are both non-profit.
Yeah. The Freedman's MTC and the Hayes is second stage.
Second stage.
Yeah. Things we know
American
now that we
Airlines
didn't know.
As well.
Oh yeah, the American Airlines.
Which is now the Todd Haynes.
Roundabout, right?
Yeah.
Things we know now that we didn't know when we first went to Broadway. We have learned.
Yeah. So I think, Rebecca, like the concerts, from what I understand, that's why we're seeing so many American producers do those concerts, because for them, doing the concert at Drury Lane is extremely cheap for them.
Relative to their
to what they
expectations,
see,
I think they have a lot of money to burn because they can't be profitable.
And I think it's that whole thing of like, even if a show doesn't do well, in writing, saying that it made like it had a West End premiere, a West End concert version at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. It's like
the show had its world premiere there. It's a vanity campaign.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think they care as much about how well it sells. I think they care more about being able to say it happened, and that helps them with future life. Being like, look at this.
Yeah, and we've spoken to producers of some of those shows, and the enthusiasm that they have for those projects is evident. And I think that's where there's like, we have the opportunity to do a concert in London. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
And it comes from that. So I'm not saying that in like a critical way to be like, oh, it's a vanity component. That it comes from excitement.
Yeah.
I think whether it's the smartest thing to do, I don't know. Do you guys like the current cast of Little Shop at the West End Theatre? Haven't seen them, but Andrew Barth Feldman and Sarah, like, what's not to love? And
then the cast coming in after that.
I can't even talk about it. I'm so excited I can't even talk about it. Will the producers transfer, given how well it's selling at the Menier?
It's a good sign, but I think it depends on then how it does once it's open.
It's got to open first. Got to see how it does.
Because it can sell really well.
A lot of stuff.
And then people can watch it and not love it, and then that changes things.
Back in the old days, Menier stuff used to sell really well before it even opened, but it also used to transfer. So I don't know. Scarcity of West End theatres makes that a little bit trickier. If something falls down, by which I mean closes early at the right time, maybe.
Yeah.
The future is hard to predict.
Yeah, and Juliet running longer on Broadway than at West End is kind of a role reversal compared to a lot of other musicals.
Is it the only musical that ran longer on Broadway than it did in the West End, though? I don't know if that is the case.
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, longer on Broadway than in the West End. Sunset Boulevard is going to try to, this Sunset Boulevard revival, because the one here was limited. That's not a great example. Book of Mormon, I guess, continues to, Lion King continues to, and Wicked continued to, but they're both still open. So,
yeah.
What else ran longer on Broadway? Aladdin.
Yeah, Aladdin as well.
But then Frozen didn't, so that's interesting.
The pandemic cut Frozen.
Yeah.
Because Disney didn't want
that Merrily revival.
Yeah. That was always going to be limited around the West End.
Yeah. What's your prediction on a next to normal pro shot? I know they recorded it, but does this mean we'll definitely see a pro shot? Yes.
Yeah.
And if so, when do you think they'd release it? I don't know. There's no way of knowing. And Christmas. Any idea if Stereophonic is going to extend beyond December? January. It's extended to like January 12th. I think it'll tour.
Yeah, I can see it touring based or doing like an LA run.
Oh yeah.
But it's totally going to come to the UK.
It is. Did you see the new Wicked stuff released today? Yes. Wicked update coming soon. We're not jumping straight on it as quickly as we normally are. We're going to wait and see what else they do over the next week, and then we're going to do a look at all this new Wicked stuff.
Yeah, rather than watching a reaction, it'll be you talking through everything we've learned so far.
Hopefully Gypsy doesn't go the way of Sweeney Todd. If people are lukewarm or indifferent about it, say goodbye to Tony's, especially in such a busy revival year.
Yeah.
You also have Floyd Collins. You also have The Last 5 Years. You also have Once Upon a Mattress. You also have Sunset Boulevard. That's its biggest competition, I think. And the reception to that will be very interesting. Has anyone seen the new leads in Cabaret West End? Yes, if anyone has, sound off in the comments. We haven't seen them yet. And I don't know when we will, because I don't know if they're doing a gala. I don't think we're going.
We haven't seen theatre in Dublin. We haven't seen any theatre in Ireland. We wanted to. So we wanted to see the Fun Home.
We wanted
revival.
to see Fun Home at is it the Gate Theatre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully one day soon.
UK tour seats, Upper Circle for Wicked, £40. Exactly the same seats and same theatre, £80 for Hamilton. Hamilton can command that price, and I think it's sold out, didn't it? Didn't Hamilton just post that somewhere that it had sold out its full run because it wasn't going to be able to offer? It sent out a message to say, make sure you get the date right on your tickets because we're not able to accommodate people because we've sold so well. Yeah. It's crazy. I've been to the West End for much, much cheaper than I've seen many touring or regional productions. It's because I find with tours, less so with regional theatres, but certainly with tours, the discount options aren't there. The day seats, the rush tickets, the young people schemes. I used to benefit from a really great young person scheme at the Southampton Mayflower when I was growing up. I know that doesn't still exist, but it also doesn't still exist for some London theatres like the Old Vic.
Do we think the Last 5 Years will come back? Always. It's a 2-person musical. It's very easy to come back, and it's going to Broadway. So if that production does well, maybe it'll try for a West End run with that production.
Sunset is performing on the Thanksgiving Day Parade. They are trying to appeal to the masses. Wow. So is everything. Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if they make $2 million a week, 1,700 seats a night. A lot of people are going to have their if it can do the same thing it did here and become talked about and become
then it will become a big thing,
become the talk of the town. I could see that happening where it has the same thing that Merrily had, because like Dan Radcliffe was a factor in Merrily, but also everyone was just like, you need to go see Merrily, and they did.
Back to the Future's already started touring in the US, so I 100% think it can tour in the UK. They'll just make some modifications, but I don't think it's actually that hard to tour that show.
Is my perception accurate that Broadway announces shows much further in advance than West End, coming to London in March 2025 and do not see much announced yet?
We don't have as many theatres that are free.
There's 3 answers.
Longer announced.
Yeah, there's not much that can come into London in March 2025 because a lot of the theatres are just full. Stuff might get announced last minute if stuff closes early. I think Broadway a little further in advance, not much, but a little, because they have to build up in advance because they're more expensive.
Yeah, and Broadway can have a theatre go dark until that time, so it'll be announced and it's like, well, that's happening.
Yeah.
That theatre's now going to be
what we're getting at the moment is lots of Broadway shows announcing but not saying a theatre. So it's like, this is coming to
because
Broadway.
they're all waiting for the theatres that they're looking at.
I don't think Smash said where it's going.
No.
Paper Mill is doing Jersey Boys. Yes, it is. The
also
UK tour of Hamilton is so expensive.
Mermaid.
Yes, it is. How long do you predict we'll be waiting for the next normal pro shot? I teased that one already. Do you think it'll go to Broadway?
Unsure.
I heard mixed things. Will James Graham revamp the book of Finding Neverland?
I forget that James Graham did the book of Finding Neverland.
I didn't know James
Yeah,
Graham
it
did
was
the
James
book. Of Finding- I think Tammy Faye might be one of the best things he's ever written. I think his play is the best thing he's ever written. I think Best of Enemies and
Dear England.
And This House.
And Quiz. Loved Quiz.
Yeah, are better than the book. I enjoyed the book of Tammy Faye, but it didn't spring to mind as the best thing James Graham's ever written. New Starlight and Sunset Recordings. I wish we got that Rumored Aspects one. Everything I said about the show notwithstanding, I do as well, because there was still a lot of value in that score and those vocals. Vanya with Andrew is teasing a New York run.
Yes.
Do we think that could be somewhere like...
I can't tell if it's off Broadway or Broadway. It could be like somewhere like
Like
the Shed or
Brooklyn, like St.
yeah.
Anne's, or like
Yeah, could be St.
BAM.
Anne's.
Is BAM a people or a place? What's BAM?
It's a place.
Okay. Will you two be doing more videos with Ellie? We filmed
Always.
a challenge not too long ago, and that will be coming soon, weekend after next. Smash is taking over the Imperial. That may be the word on the street, but has it been confirmed? I don't know.
Could change. Who knows?
Any plans to go to next year's Broadway Flea?
Depending on if it clashes, yeah.
Who knows when it'll be, and hard to say what our lives will
Yeah, it's
be.
difficult to know depending on like what the
Also, we would love to, but it's expensive to go to the Broadway flea market.
and it's difficult to bring stuff back.
How am I going to stand there? And Ashley was posing with a denim jacket with a funny thing happening on the waist of the form on the back that looked so cute. It was $250. It is much safer for me to be here and not be at the Broadway flea market.
Yeah.
I saw a college theatre production of Rent. Joanne wasn't a lawyer. It was weird. They changed? How? How did that work? When will we get a Hadestown UK cast recording? I don't.
It's on its.
Is it?
We all know that they've announced it.
Have they?
Yeah.
I missed that. Fine. Good.
They've recorded stuff. I don't know if it's the full score or if it's just highlights, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're definitely releasing it, and they recorded it with the full original cast.
Yeah. Am I getting closer? I don't know that I am. My gosh.
We try and see as many off West End shows as we can. So we're always intrigued about them. It just ends up being a case of clashes and where we are in the country or worldwide.
Yeah.
But hopefully we get to see a lot of stuff because we love following a journey of the show from like off West End to West End or tour and the futures of shows. It's one of my favourite things.
As an American, I'm glad they didn't have to stunt cast Mamma Mia to stay open. No, Mamma Mia sells very well.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Tina was doing so well in London. They're booking through 2025. Yeah. I could see Jenna Russell doing Marianne in Here We Are. Wouldn't surprise me. And that would be quite lovely given her legacy and history with Sondheim. It's nice to see a Sondheim UK premiere, European premiere at the National. I don't think we've had that since Sunday in the Park with George necessarily.
Sweeney. Did you say Sweeney?
No, Sweeney was at Drury Lane.
Yes.
I thought I got confused. My only worry with the Wicked movie, as palette-wise, it doesn't seem dark enough like the musical. Do you have any problems with any of the design style you've seen? Some people say it doesn't seem bright enough. Some people say it doesn't seem dark enough.
We won't know until we see it. The thing is, as well, all the trailers trailers are marketing. So everything's going to be not how it specifically is in the film, because it's all edited to be coherent the whole way through.
Yeah.
The trailer. So we'll find out when we see it.
Do you have plans to see Calamity Jane the musical when the tour starts next year?
I want to see it.
I want to see it. Yes. There you go. Sold. Will you watch The Roommate? I think we'll try to. We're going to be arriving towards the end of its run. But I think we'll try to. Moulin
Rouge is going to be touring, has already toured in the US, but it's going to be touring in the UK, but it's an international world tour. So they've been announcing venues slowly, but the big UK theatres are getting it for a period of time each. They announced Birmingham this week.
Yeah. The Pitlochry Festival theatre production of A Streetcar Named Desire is coming to my local theatre. I don't really know anything about it and haven't seen many plays. Should I go to this one? I mean, it's a very seminal play. It's a very big deal, A Streetcar Named Desire. If you're a fan of like simmering Southern American sexual tension and power dynamics, I don't know much about the Pitlochry production, but that is the nature of this play, with a little bit of a repressed queer subplot just tucked away in there as well.
Brian, I can't believe you.
What's Brian chatting
He
about?
put, okay, I need to rant about Mincemeat, this producers. Operating costs are higher than cabaret per capita for Broadway.
Why?
How?
How? Based on what? Who says?
I don't even know
Hearsay,
how.
speculation, rumor.
I'm so glad, Adam, that you enjoyed Come From Away on tour. It's
Do you
so
think-
good.
Do you think Suffs would ever make it to the West End? Difficult, because it's about the American suffrage movement, and if you put a show called Suffs in the West End, they would expect to see Emmeline Pankhurst and Sylvia Pankhurst, and they would expect certain things to happen. The stories are so similar. They go through all the same hallmarks, some eerily similar events, just with different names.
And
so
I could
it would
see...
be, yeah.
I could see it being very like Sylvia, then trying to come to it like go
we
against
have another suffragist musical called Sylvia, which is similar. Sad about Cake Glazing. Have you seen it? I've seen it at various stages of its development. We saw it in concert last year. I saw
We both saw different
workshop versions of it at MT Fest when it was called
Yeah.
Killer Queen years ago.
Yeah. BAM is a theatre. It's for Ben says it's for Brooklyn Academy of Music.
There you go. BAM is a theatre. BAM is a theatre. You'll believe BAM is a theatre. What did you think about Infinite Life? Enjoyed it. Very steady, very gradual, and really raw and interesting. And I really loved what it seemed to say about the relationship between intimacy and pain relief. I thought that was really interesting, and I can understand how it speaks really powerfully to people affected by chronic pain and illness.
Well, that's an interesting question. Have you or would you ever collaborate with a musical dealer?
We'll collaborate with anyone. I'll collaborate with anyone.
Yeah.
We love making friends.
Oh, I'm only in London for 3 days. Is it worth going to the King's Head Theatre to see Rob Madge in Empire and Cellar?
I think so. If you want to see Rob Madge, it's a very funny show. It's a very charming show.
It's a really nice area of London as well. Islington's really nice for like a trip to, and you'll get to see like a street full of off-West End theatres.
Yeah. Evening, went to the Dear Evan Hansen press night, and what a brilliant show. Ryan Copple is an absolute star. He's incredibly talented. What a performance. I'm glad you enjoyed. Since you were curious on what I'd like you to say about the stage version of The Lion King, it would make sense if you'd point out the accuracies or differences between the show and the film, wouldn't it? Yes, I just think it's a very old conversation, because The Lion King was first brought to the stage around the time of the new millennium, some 24 years ago. They're about to celebrate their 25th anniversary in the West End. So I can. There's a video I could make. I always kind of forget that I can look back and do that. I don't know if that feels more like something Brendan would do over on Wait in the Wings. But I don't know. I could make a video about like Lion King from film to stage.
Oh, okay, Brian. So it's from a Broadway Journal thing. They got a hand on the investment packet, and it's meant to be $3 more. The high break even, $3 higher than Cabaret's break even. But that will be from stats. So that's
Now I'm confused.
the Palladium Summer Show. I don't know. There's elements where I'm like, we might find out soon, before Christmas. I could see it being before Christmas because, what are you going to buy people for Christmas? Like normally the big, like a lot of people will get their like one big like show ticket of the year, and they're going to want people to be buying tickets to the Palladium. Like that's kind of like a big talk about. But I'd need to look back to see when Hello Dolly and Kiss Me Kate were both announced.
Yeah.
Because those are kind of the comparables. So kind of look when they were announced, and it'll probably be around the same period.
You know that's
time.
not what they asked, don't you?
Oh, what will it be?
Yeah.
There's rumours.
The rumors seem to suggest that producers have said, God, I see what you have done for Sunset Boulevard, and we want to do something similar. Let's take another show by that same composer. Let's do a similar kind of a casting thing and see if that works. Now, usually when producers do or try and replicate success like that, it doesn't necessarily work. So
I would have loved for Ride to get a West End run.
yes, I miss Ride.
But I'm so glad that Liv Andrews here is just smashing it. And
She's so good in Fiddler.
yeah.
I missed out on tickets to Avenue Q in concert. If anyone is selling Avenue Q tickets, get in touch with M. Any tips for getting tickets for shows at the Donmar, such a small venue for great shows, all sold out so quickly? You gotta know when those on sale dates are. But I do have a tip. Go to the box office in person and ask them to add you to the waiting list. You will get a call. I think it's a call rather than an email when they have tickets available. That's how we got next to normal tickets. Yeah. Called us up. They're like, we've got options. What do you want? And they will go to you first before they go for resale on the website, or just refresh that website because things do pop up. They also do like on the day, like a returns queue, I believe. Do you think Rachel Zegel will sing in the new Romeo and Juliet? Yes. Jack Antonoff's involved. Yeah. Will Katie Braben upset Nicole at the Tonys? It might be. Depends on how the show does. Yeah. If the show is closed, that might be harder.
I think it will be a case of which shows are open.
And Katie Braben and Nicole are both trying to upset Audra, who, by virtue of doing the role that very often wins and being the performer who very often wins, is immediately the favorite. Like, in no world is Audra McDonald not the favorite to win the Tony Award next year. Nicole is obviously huge competition. Idina Menzel is also doing a musical about trees. Hamilton UK West End. There you go. No, so I haven't seen the performer that you mentioned from that production. Did you see the YouTube video of the person who went to work on Operation Mincemeat for a day? I haven't watched it, but I saw that it happened. There was like a YouTuber who went to go work on Operation. I need to watch. I was very intrigued. Not like a theatre YouTuber, like someone mainstream with a very big audience. Are you going to see any off West End shows this season? I dare say we are. Yes. Depends what you call off West End. I mean, we will, but always hard to classify. You said you wanted to see In the Heights. It will be at Signature Theatre in Arlington, Virginia. There you go. Hamilton is currently playing in Dublin. I won't see it until November. What do you think about Carrie the musical? Never actually seen it.
No,
but I listened to the cast recording from the off-Broadway revival with Molly and Marin a lot, and Carmen Cusack and Christy Altomare, and that was a great cast. I miss the vlogs. I still make vlogs. There's still lots of vlog content. I just don't do weekly vlogs because it was getting too difficult and it was making me stressed about not doing enough in the week and starting to like plan more in an already busy week to be like, I have to like make vlog content by going out and spending money and doing things. But I posted a bunch of vlogs. I tend to post vlog content on the weekends. So some theme park and theatre vlogs over the last few weeks and another vlog coming this weekend. Kate Shindle and Jeremy Jordan played Veronica. Kate Shindle played Veronica and JD in the demo recordings of Heathers. I thought it was Annalie Ashford. I'm sure it was, or at least in the workshop. But I didn't know about the demo recordings. That's interesting. I knew about Jeremy. I didn't know about Kate Shindle. Could we see a 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee revival? Somewhere like the Menier. Hasn't been done in London since the Donmar production, directed by Jamie Lloyd, if you can believe it. Years
I'd love
ago.
to see it. I'm gutted if there's no way we can see the revival at the Kennedy Centre.
Oh, with that amazing cast.
Yeah.
Do you think Hello Dolly with Imelda will transfer to Broadway? No, they've had the Bette Midler one too recently. I hope Heathers comes to Broadway. The score deserves a Tony. Will it be eligible?
It'd be eligible for score.
No, because it was off Broadway in.
But it's never been eligible. Score hasn't.
Hedwig. So it would be.
I mean, Newsies was eligible, and that was already in the film. And that was at Paper
It was
Mill.
expanded from the film. Paper Mill is regional, and then it came in. Hedwig, when it went with Neil Patrick Harris, the writing wasn't eligible. And Gutenberg, I don't think the writing was eligible.
I don't know.
So I don't
That's
know.
a tricky one.
I don't know if the Heather score would even be eligible for a Tony if it went to Broadway, and I think it's not necessarily going to Broadway. I think it's going off. What's your opinion on Star Kid? I haven't seen Star Kid shows. I know I should. I just haven't, and I've been waiting to now because I'm now like, oh, I should do like a video of like watching them for the first time, and I know people would be intrigued to know what I think because a lot of YouTube and theatre intersecting people really love Star Kid, and so I've always had in my mind that at some point I would watch them and like do a video about it.
Did some weird thing then.
You're right.
Yeah, it's all good.
I saw the Lehman trilogy yesterday. I'm waiting for Godot this afternoon. Did you enjoy waiting for Godot? I struggle with that play historically. Someone said it's the same production that Bette Midler was in. No, it's not. It is not the same Hello Dolly that Bette Midler was in. They are different productions, different directors and creatives.
Whoa, end of a life.
Oh, we're having some
very
TikTok
weird.
problems, but we are still here on YouTube. Have you heard anything about the production of Empire Records playing in Princeton, New Jersey? Our friends went to see it and really loved it.
Hopefully everybody will find us quite quickly.
I wonder if Cat on a Hot Tin Roof will come to New York. Streetcar never came. Give it time. It may yet. Never say never. It's only been a little while. Random question, not related to theatre. Do you guys have many houseplants? We have one. It's over there.
And it's called Planty.
His name is Planty. I've had him for years and years and years, and he thrives on neglect, which is the only reason I'm not good at plants, but that one thrives on neglect.
Hopefully everybody finds us again. That's really annoying that it vanished.
Dalek Man 2 says, oh my god, hey, long sleeve tee arrived yesterday.
Ah, yay, I hope you liked it.
That's so exciting. Erin's been working really hard on the merch and amazing merch designs. I now have merch that you can buy on YouTube.
We're planning to kind of get some to... Yeah, I don't know why it vanished. I'm sorry,
Apologies.
everyone.
Apologies,
Hopefully
TikTok.
everybody that was on there finds us again. Because I pressed something and then it just ended it, and I was just trying to read something.
We're still here.
TikTok still confuses me at points, I'll be honest.
Nederlander is one of the producers of Broadway Gatsby. If they want to go to London, presumably they could get a theatre. Do you think London would like Great Gatsby? London would like Great Gatsby. Nederlander have 2.5 West End theatres.
Yes.
And the one that they would want to put it in would probably be the Adelphi.
Or the Dominion.
Yeah, pending what happens with Back to the Future, pending what happens with Devil Wears Prada, those are sought after theatres, although the Dominion hasn't been for a long time.
Hopefully we're not muted. Let us know if we are muted, because that's very annoying if so. Can you all hear us on here?
Can you hear us on TikTok? Don't worry about this, YouTube people.
Thumbs up if... Oh, yeah, no, people hear us. That's all good.
You're all good.
Cool.
Eddie, you're asking
Yay.
any more videos with Ellie. I'm not sure if you asked this since I answered it, but yes, new challenge coming soon. Just got back from seeing Jovan Hansen in Nottingham. Hope you enjoyed. Which musical would you love to see Daniel Radcliffe star in? I'm desperate to see him in a musical. What would Daniel Radcliffe be good in next?
Oh,
that's a good question.
yeah.
Why was I going to say Tick Tick Boom?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Him and Andrew Garfield live in a very similar place in my mind.
Oh, MC as an option.
Seymour and Little Shop is like immediate, brilliant slam dunk. MC is good because he does doing.
He likes dark shows.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had the chance to actually do that many.
The clips of him, was it Penny Dreadful that he was in? Where
he did the Swiss Army, that one as well.
Yeah. What musical are we seeing next? Wicked. We're going to the anniversary performance of Wicked on Friday in the West End.
Woo!
Downstate and English are two of the greatest plays of the decade. Read them or watch English in New York. English was just recently produced in the UK, and I had terrible trouble trying to go and see it, and I didn't manage to. Come From Away tour, amazing. I don't know why they run out of programs. Yes, we couldn't get a program on the Come From Away tour.
In Bristol, they sold out.
Which is amazing to say they don't have an interval. Would you consider seeing the Moulin Rouge tour in the Edinburgh Playhouse? As you said, you hadn't seen shows in theatres in Scotland apart from the Traverse. Yes, I would love to see a show.
I love the Edinburgh Playhouse. I have seen a lot of shows in the Edinburgh Playhouse. It's an amazing theatre. Reminds me a bit of the Palladium.
Ego Gypsy is Philip, I'm going to disagree with you here. Ego Gypsy is a vanity project. It's not Audra's role. It's not. It doesn't belong to anyone, which is why 5 to 10 different actresses have done it over the last few decades. I hope we get Sutton Foster Gypsy shortly after. If you don't want to go see Audra do Gypsy, simply don't buy tickets. There already is a lot of demand for tickets. I don't think they will miss any one individual's business. She'll kill it like she did in Sweeney Todd. I love Sutton Foster. I'm a huge Sutton Foster fan. I think she's perfectly cast in Once Upon a Mattress. I loved her in Anything Goes. I thought she was completely miscast in Sweeney Todd. It was complete inappropriate casting. She seemed to be having a great time, and that was fun. But it was like watching a Carol Burnett show parody of Sweeney Todd. So I disagree with you there, and I think I don't know why we take it upon ourselves. There's so much criticism of Audra McDonald before she stepped on stage in Gypsy that I've never seen throughout the rest of her career, her 6 Tony Award-winning career. I think it's obnoxious, actually. I'm heated about it now because I made a video about it and I've been getting a lot of comments with racist undertones, and it's been annoying me. Just back from the UK and Ireland tour, I've come from away. What a show. It is amazing. It is.
Oh, Dear Evan Hansen was longer on Broadway.
Oh, of course it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is that how long ago these comments were? Oh my gosh. I heard something about the 6 Pro shot, but I don't know if it's true or not, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything about it.
We haven't had anything.
No. What was the first musical you both saw, together and individually?
Together. Individually, I still don't know what my first was. I can tell you what my first West End was, which is Mary Poppins, but I genuinely do not know what my first musical was, that I ever saw.
Mine was either Joseph or Dr. Dolittle with Philip Schofield.
Together.
Technically,
Was
Marry
it
Me a Little,
Yeah.
I think, but not.
Well, we could have been in the
Not
same room
together.
before and something and not even know. What did we go to where we actually went together?
That was a play. Bedknobs?
I think maybe Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
They should have cast Betsy Wolfe in Ragtime. Casey Levy's got Philip. I can't with this. Casey Levy is going to ruin it like she did Les Mis. It's not her role. These roles don't belong to individuals. That's not the nature of theatre. You may want to see Betsy Wolfe in Ragtime. I would love to see Betsy Wolfe in Ragtime, but Casey Levy is going to be very good, I think. She was wonderful in Next to Normal. I'm very excited to see her in the role. Stop being rude. Just back from... Oh, have I repeated myself? No, here we go. Do you feel that some modern revivals take roles away from older actors, e.g. Sweeney, Sunset? I don't mind Sunset for making a statement on how we perceive age, because I think that's all been a very exciting conversation and an interesting conversation. But Sweeney, yeah, I do a little bit. I don't think we have the opportunities on either side of the Atlantic as much as we used to for the older character actors, which is where you appreciate a show like a Kimberly Akimbo.
Yeah.
Ben says, seeing Marry Me a Little as your first show together and now being engaged is kind of iconic to BH. Yeah. Yeah. It's very cute. Love the Mayflower. Yes. Still one of my favorite theaters. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I've scrolled down again. Oh, I'm so far back in these comments.
Thank you, Eva, for the super chat.
Here we go. Capitol Theatres in Edinburgh is still doing it. They have, I don't know what this was about. Will the Little Big Things go to Broadway?
Oh, that was when you were talking about things for...
they're discount offers, yes. Curve has a great student scheme. Little Big Things would struggle.
Yeah, I think it'd at least need to come back to the West End first. Even to start that discussion.
It would have to find a very accessible theatre on Broadway because that's kind of the whole point. Do you think Miss Saigon will get a revival? It's had some quite recently.
At some point.
Have you ever been to the Donald Gordon Theatre at the Millennium Centre in Cardiff?
I've never been to the Millennium
I've
Centre.
never been to the Millennium Centre.
It looks gorgeous, though. I've
Either
seen
of
it,
you
but I've never been in it.
Familiar with the John Barry, Don Black musical Billy? Should be a candidate for revival. I know of it, but I don't know it. And we saw Cable Street last year. Haven't seen it this year yet. I know you are anti-bootleg due to consent and pro shots are expensive. Do you have any ideas about how to make theatre more accessible and historically documented?
Well, on a historically documented, nearly every show does get filmed.
Yeah, they get filmed for archive.
Yes, they're filmed for archives. So museums have them. So the V&A in the UK has a ridiculously big amount of musicals that have been recorded, and then the same as in a similar thing in the US. So for documentation, they are, and they have been for years, a lot of them. But then for people to watch it, I think it's more that there needs to be proof that that I think they're now getting the studies and the statistics that they need to prove that filming a show helps the theatre and the live industry and doesn't hinder it, and that there's enough interest in it, and that will make more things happen.
At the same time, I don't think, though it's convenient, I don't think technology and screens are the anti-accessibility solution. I think we need to work harder to find different accessibility solutions, because inherently you're trying to capture in a bottle and in a time capsule something that is temporary and something that is ephemeral, and that's what theatre is, and it's never quite the same thing. There are some beautiful pro shot captures. It's never quite the same experience. And a historical record is good and is important, but it's temporary. Is it sacrilege for me to say I wish Chicago was more elaborate? No, I don't think it's sacrilege. I think I always get excited about like different productions, like non-replicas and the thing different to the version of the show that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Eva, for the super chat. Hear me out, Vanya at the Park Avenue Armory. Not a venue I know well, but wouldn't surprise me. I won't forget Broadway Flea last year, says Dylan, and I went like $75 over budget. But what was that budget? That's the question. Because if it's $75 over like a $75 budget, that's not that bad. If it's $75 over $600 budget. Hello. Oh, hello.
Yeah, it is true. You'll never get the same as what you experience in the theatre.
Do you think School of Rock will tour? It already did. I don't know that it will. Again, what musical is Antoine Weber doing next? He's writing a new one, and I am waiting to hear more details, believe you me. They should do a gender swap on Cabaret, a female MC and Sally Bowles, on a male Sally Bowles. Yeah, I'd love to see like a full like genderqueer Cabaret. There's been some fun trans-inclusive casting in various productions recently, but even more of that vibe would be fun, I think. Do you think Vinnie Jones is going to be a good singer?
How much does his character have to sing? Because
I don't know the show. I don't think his character has to sing. I think if Vinnie Jones was a good singer, we'd know about it by now. But I don't think it's going to matter. Most of the Wicked movie does seem to be set during the day, besides Ozdust.
In the first half, in Act 1 in Wicked, that is the case anyhow, so that doesn't surprise me.
We've seen that I'm Not That Girl is like dusky. That's dusky.
But in general, though, that's matching the show. The show, nighttime is more in Act 2.
The difference is Thank Goodness, which I always sort of imagined being by darkness, and it's not.
And we never think of that as...
But then per The Wizard of Oz, it's not. So... that's the thing. Why won't Cameron do new work anymore? Why isn't he producing his own shows like he did with Cats and Les Mis back in the day? Cameron McIntosh, he's still championing things, like he's bringing the Oliver revival into town.
He also just is a lot older now.
He has had an extraordinary long career, and he is now a lot older.
And he's allowing new producers to put their work in his theatres. So
yeah,
he's also allowing new producers to find their place.
Yeah.
You'd love Waitress to come back. Sam just said we need Waitress back. I mean, it's fascinating to see how many regional productions there are of Waitress right now in the US. I'm like, wow. I'd be intrigued though whether we would see a replica production again in the UK, or whether the rights will be given out for a non-replica now.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing less replicas. Though I think the Canadian production was a replica. The French Canadian.
Yes, I thought so as well.
Yeah.
It looked like it from the marketing.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Heathers in NYC will go to Broadway or off Broadway? Because most people think Broadway, but I disagree. No, I think off Broadway.
Off Broadway.
I think it's going off Broadway. Pitlochry Theatre's creative director is now Alan Cumming.
Yeah.
It is. Alan Cumming is now
Very exciting.
the new at Pitlochry. Very intrigued to see what happens there. What do you guys think of the cast of Maybe Happy Ending? I personally love Helen J. Shen. She's amazing, and so is Darren. I really enjoy Helen. Saw her in Help Me at MCC. What was the name of the film? I really liked it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, I don't think Kate's here because Kate would be able to tell us straight away.
It was the name of the band.
Lonely Few.
The Lonely Few.
There
yes.
we go.
There
Lonely
we go.
Few. Thank you, Jonathan.
Good. Yes, really enjoyed her in The Lonely Few. And Darren Criss, my personal friend who I've met on 2 occasions, one of them in a bathroom at Chicago. He's going to be terrific as well, I think. Yeah, very intrigued about that one.
Very exciting.
My favourite song in Wicked is No Good Deed. Great choice. So excited to see how it adapts to the screen and for Cynthia's vocals. I think she's going to kill it. Dan John, no worries.
Thank you for joining us.
Good luck with your MOT. Drunk discussion RE Lion King collab with Brendan, a la your cat's plot video. I'm open to it. I'll message him about that. Do we know if there's plans for Two Strangers Carry a Cake to tour or return to the West End? I think the next time we'll see it will be in New York. I think as in the next time the world will see the show will be stateside. Can't wait to see the rest of the cast announcement for Elf on Broadway, presumably very soon.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Because that starts previews
very
in
soon.
October. Opening for Elf is like November 17th. Has Nightmare Before Christmas ever been considered for adaptation to a stage musical? It'd be fun if that were a yearly show like A Christmas Carol. I agree with you.
They've done a concert. They keep doing a concert version, and I wonder if that's why they make all their money from it.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think it's got a challenge because everyone's always like, is it a Halloween show? Is it a Christmas film?
I feel like it would be a puppetry show.
Oh yes,
puppetry feels like the best way to honor the stop motion style of it.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's some beautiful haunting music.
Well, it's going to be interesting because Coraline's coming.
It is. I think eventually we'll get a Nightmare Before Christmas. I think they'll give that a whack.
But will Disney go for Hocus Pocus first?
Would you both like to go to Broadway Con? Yes.
Yeah, it always clashes currently.
It does. Mickey Jo watching Star Kid for the first time video would be great. I'm both intrigued and nervous. Have you ever seen a show in Newcastle? I've never even been to Newcastle. I grew up on the south coast. It is a long way away. I did not understand anything about Waiting for Godot, but Lucian and Ben Whishaw were absolutely fantastic. There you go. Why are you up so late? This is quite early for us.
Yeah.
It's not even 1 a.m. yet.
Yeah. TikTok stuff. Yeah, it's restarted. My TikTok is running again now.
What would you recommend about Benjamin Button, the musical? I've heard good things about it, but didn't manage to watch the Southwark run, thinking of catching the West End run. Please do. It's a lovely show. It's a very charming show, beautiful folk score. Really lovely. Very excited to go see it again.
New York are working in Toronto. That's fun.
Is it weird that I'm not excited by the Dainty June casting for Gypsy? I'm going in December. I love everyone else, but that one I'm not sure. I don't know because I've only seen her in The Notebook.
Yeah, we've not seen her.
Which is very different tonally. So it's hard to envision her in that role, but I'm waiting to see it. I always people have very strong opinions when it comes to casting, but at the end of the day, we all have to wait until they get on stage and give that performance. And then you find out. There's a lot of people that can do a lot of things that we don't know about. And I think unless you've seen, even if you've seen everything that they've done in their career thus far, that's still a very early career performer. So they may have tricks up their sleeve that we don't know about. And we don't know what the nature of this revival is going to be either, or what the creative vision is. Loved meeting you both on Sunday with my niece.
So lovely to meet you, David.
Amazing to hear live performances from Hello Dolly and 42 Balloons. Looking forward to 17th of October. Do you mean the 20th of October or do you mean the 17th of November? Because those are my next 2 live show dates. Any word yet on guests? They are all confirmed. I have guests booked for October and November, and they're all exciting. But I am waiting to reveal them at an opportune time, probably the end of this week or the start of next.
Oh, at the end of this week is very soon.
Yeah. Get the Broadway Merrily cast back together for Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I like the idea. I don't think that works for any of them. Literally, Lindsay Mendez is the one I can see that working for the most, but it doesn't really work for any of them. The Merrily Trio and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
I forget. Like, I watched Dirty Rotten Scoundrels twice, but I've completely forgotten most of it. I'll be honest.
Sorry. Oh, you meant 20th of October. Yes, guests to be announced very soon. Is Hadestown doing well enough to continue their run after February? Yes, I think so. Yeah. I love the Disney movies that already have had musical adaptations, but so many good movies are slept on. I'm dying for a stage production of The Princess and the Frog.
That would be very cool.
I'd love a Princess and the Frog stage production with puppetry. Will you be checking out Little Shop of Horrors? I've scrolled away again. In December at the Crucible in Sheffield. Yes, we always try and do a little regional roundup right before Christmas, and we'll definitely be trying to get to that because we love that show and loving the cast. Despite the lack of empty theatres, will Here Lies Love play West End? No, sadly, I don't think so. It was in the UK at the National Theatre years ago. I don't think we can look forward to that one, sadly. I got no additional gossip from Jack Godfrey about babies. He's not allowed to tell me. I'm glad you enjoyed the Avenue Q, the very silly Avenue Q performance. Going to see Dear Evan Hansen in Leicester next Saturday. This is the non-replica UK tour. Will be interesting to see it on tour after seeing it in the West End before it closed. Yes. Have you announced your next trip to NYC? No,
not yet.
Still haven't technically booked flights.
No.
I'm just acting like we have.
Yeah.
Great trivia quiz at Mickey J Live. Would you have counted Rent and La Boheme as 2 musicals based on the source material? No, because La Boheme is the source material that Rent is based on. So it would need to be 2 different adaptations of the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. Please do a Mickey J mug.
I think there is one on your merch store.
There is one. Head over to the merch store. You can get a Mickey J mug. Sounds like you are loving the puppetry. I love puppets.
Yeah.
I love puppets. What musical do you think would best lend itself to an immersive production? I'm envisioning Sweeney Todd with Mrs. Lovett's pies being sold in the foyer and pre-show haircuts. That's basically happened. They've done Sweeney Todd in a pie shop in London and New York. Really want Casey Levy to go into an upbeat musical unlike Ragtime. Well, Ragtime is just a concert for a few weeks. So what Casey is going to do next...
And she was in Frozen.
Is Frozen an upbeat music? It's not for Casey. Frozen's upbeat for everyone else in that show.
At the end it's upbeat.
Other than Elsa. It's at the end it's uplifting. I don't know if it's upbeat. What upbeat show do we want Casey Levy to do? That's the question. If you could create a sequel to a musical, what would it be? Ooh. 2 strangers carry a cake across New York. I need to know what happens afterwards. And it would be set in London with the same 2 characters. I would listen to or just sing the phone book. Haven't we learned anything? Ugh, so disheartening. Lisa, I'm with you. I am with you. If you never let someone try playing a character, you never know if it's going to work or not anyway. Was chatting with colleagues at the Royal Opera House today. What musical would fit in the massive theatre? There's a couple of shows that we haven't had revived in the West End that I would like to see, like The Music Man, like what was the other one? On the 20th Century. Shows that we don't get as often in London. I would like to see grand productions of those. Grand Hotel is another. I would love to see Grand Hotel. Where do we go to? I saw Marry Me a Little in the Stage Door Theatre last April. Ah, that was not the production I was talking about, but how was it? Did you enjoy? The National Theatre have a very good streaming system, £10 a month. Yes, they do. NT at home. Do you think we'll get the casting for Nina and the rest of the cast for the Seagull before the tickets go on sale? Yes. Yes, I think so. How soon are tickets going on sale? Did we not hear have we not had the casting for the Seagull? I thought we had the casting for the Seagull. Am I losing my mind? No, I don't know. I was answering the question on your TikTok, which musical should get a sequel, and I said Two Strangers Carry a Cake, but it should be set in London.
Oh, I'd like that. Yeah,
the same two characters.
Yeah. Yeah, see how Robin fares in London.
Yeah. Do you think anything is happening with the West End Newsies? Saw the closing night and they teased something this year, but nothing's said yet.
Not a clue.
They're trying for a tour, and I hope it comes through. Who do you think will be Sondheim's successor? In my opinion, Michael R. Jackson is a big possibility. I have opinions about Lin-Manuel Miranda leaving theatre for Disney.
Lin-Manuel Miranda's been...
He's writing a stage musical, and he's been working on stage.
And he's got a really good job. He does really well at like managing to do both
We
things.
want musical theatre composers to have opportunities that make them successful.
Yeah.
Look at Alan Menken and Stephen Schwartz. They wrote Disney scores. Stephen Schwartz did not leave the theatre. Alan Menken did not leave the theatre. Alan Menken did most of his theatre work after Disney, right?
Yeah.
He's done more since than he had done before in the theatre.
Yeah, and there's David Zippel's theatre, Disney and theatre.
Yeah, it's not one or the other. And Lynn doesn't have to keep churning out Broadway shows every 5 minutes in order to stay like... He's so ingrained in the theatre community. He bought the drama bookshop to keep it open. He is in Midtown Manhattan working.
And the thing is, more composers getting to write for film and do TV. The Anderson Lopez's, Chris Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez, was like they've done Agatha all along recently and all these film stuff. But then in their interview, they said they were currently halfway through the process of writing a new stage musical.
Yeah.
So
meanwhile,
we're doing both.
It's very hard. It's been hard until recently to be a musical theatre composer in the UK because everything's been so Andrew Lloyd Webber centric.
Yeah.
Through only some fault of his own, I will say. Just because that's where the culture has been and that's where the public awareness has been. And so this mindset of like, who is the next Sondheim is a wounding one to musical theatre composers. Everyone has a different style. Everyone writes in a different way. To say who is the next Sondheim ignores the work of his contemporaries and like the Jason Robert Browns and
Janine Sori
and Lipper and Gettle. And like there's so many other people brilliant already. And there's people who seem more directly inspired and influenced by Sondheim. There are other people who like partially and more so in this. The Kiss Me Kate revival. I've lost it. Kiss Me Kate filmed. I think the Kiss Me Kate is going to be in. Is it coming to cinemas?
Yes, they've just announced the date today.
I thought the date was November 17th.
Something like that.
Because I thought it was the same as the live show, and I was like, oh, that's
you're my pastor. This is repeated.
No, we have gone past it. I've never seen Only Fools and Horses the musical.
No, not me. Completely missed it.
My favourite show is Billy Elliot. I never saw the original production.
Oh, I love the original one.
Only the recording.
I could see Starlight Express getting a pro shot and being shown on UK TV, but I think they'd need to wait a long enough time.
I don't know that it stands up to... I don't think the quality of it is the same if you're not there having the experience.
That I agree with.
I don't think that would film well on TV. O'Brien is back. Did you see One Man Musical at the Fringe with Flo and Joan?
We did.
Yes. Loved. Have you seen Grease UK Tour? Sadly, no. I don't know that it's been anywhere near us necessarily. Will there ever be a revival of the musical based on All About Eve? It is called Applause. Yes, it was with Lauren Bacall. I don't know. I think a drama school in the UK did it not too long ago, actually, and I was shook.
Nothing so far about MT Fest, but you don't normally hear about it until like right before.
Yeah. Can't wait to Mean Girls, the musical non-replica in Norfolk, Virginia next month, especially since I saw it on Broadway. Ashley De La Rosa as Regina. I love that. I love seeing an original and then a non-replica. We had that experience recently with Dear Evan Hansen, a little bit before with Come From Away. Can we talk about Mincemeat's finances, though? I am still livid. I mean, we don't know what you know, Brian, so feel free to talk about it, and we will react to your lividness. Lividity? Who knows? I don't know if this means anything, but my local theatre company applied for a waitress license to perform it. However, it wasn't available due to it being commercially licensed at the moment. It just means that it hasn't yet become available for community theatre and amateur groups. They haven't made it available yet. It doesn't mean necessarily anything is happening with it right now. They're just withholding the right to possibly do something if they want to. They haven't taken their hands off of it.
Yeah.
We're finally getting David Hansen here in Australia next year. It's not no, it's not replica. It is a non-replica. It's a new production. But if it's anything like the current UK tour one,
it won't be too far away.
It won't be too far away. It's just different t-shirts, basically.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get to see Come From Away.
How fun! How exciting! When is safety not guaranteed at BAM running until? That's my question. I always imagine Popular at night right after Ozdust, whereas the film seems to have it changed to the morning. Popular canonically takes place at daybreak. Because Glinda says, look, it's tomorrow. She points out the window, so the sun is rising. Unless she's pointing to a clock that she sees through the window, but that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
I think Popular happens at daybreak. What's the buzz on McNeil? Broadway Ben did not like it. That's all I know. I don't think it hasn't opened for the critics yet, right?
Oh, we won't get to see Safety Not Guaranteed. It closes on October 20th.
Dumb. Who would win in a fight, Gavroche from Les Mis or Oliver from... If you'd said The Artful Dodger, this would be a fight, but that's not even a fight. Gavroche has taken him down. Gavroche versus The Artful Dodger? I don't know. Gavroche is scrappy. Gavroche has seen war, but The Artful Dodger is smart.
But he rests on his laurels.
In my head, they're both Rob Madge, so it's very confusing. But Oliver's going down either way. Like, throw Annie in the mix.
Spat in my eye.
Did I? I'm so sorry.
I was like, ugh.
Which word was it?
I have no idea. I kind of recoiled, but I think it was literally that.
I'm so sorry. Would you ever write a musical? Technically, I co-wrote a musical while I was 17. I don't know that it stands up quality-wise, but we were proud of it at the time. I think I'd probably sooner write a play. I'm not a composer. I'd write lyrics. I like writing lyrics. I've lost myself. Here I am. Any questions on the TikTok? Brian's been suggested that won't like McNeil.
Jonathan hated them.
Oh. I mean, I'm very anti theatre about AI anyway. I'm not enjoying any of the ones that I have seen.
Yeah, it's exciting for Hades Town to be going to Australia, and I'm really intrigued about the Dutch production because it's going to be in English, which means that we'll have two English productions of Hades Town right next to each other in two different countries.
Yeah. Mary enjoyed Leopoldstadt in Boston. Never did get to see that. Can you tell us what really happened with the Australia Sunset Boulevard debacle? What do you want to know?
I say, sorry, I was following on the next one. Creakers, I'm intrigued whether the press release makes it very confusing as to know whether it's like a musical like Matilda or it's a musical like the show that was doing the Enormous Crocodile that did the matinee performances at Regent's Park. Like, it's difficult to know what type of musical it actually is. I'm intrigued, and I'm really happy with the casting that's been announced, but I'm confused as to what type of musical it is.
Yeah. Have you seen Grease 2? We haven't. I know that's a gay crime. I'm very sorry.
We know that our friend Sean loves it, and Cool Rider, the musical that's inspired by.
Haven't been to Dundee Rep, but would like to because I've seen their shows at Fringe in Edinburgh. Would you consider covering shows at Stratford-upon-Avon at the RSC Theatre?
We've been there, you have?
We've been, and I have reviewed at least one show there. It's hard for us to get back from.
Yeah.
It's a travel struggle. is the reason I don't go more, because I really wanted to go and see Merry Wives of Windsor this summer, and was booked to, and then had to cancel because just couldn't make it work travel wise.
Oh, Vania of the casting for the 2 leads for the sequel.
Interesting. Okay. Then I don't know. I struggle with Disney stage adaptations as I feel that stretching an 80-minute film into a 2.5-hour musical sometimes affects the pacing of the story. What are your thoughts on this? A lot of them end up having Act 1 problems. I don't think Lion King or Beauty and the Beast do. But I think more recently we see a lot of Act 1 problems. Hercules, I didn't think had pacing problems. Hercules had different problems.
Hercules was to do with the spectacle levels rather than the pacing.
Aladdin and Frozen are the Act 1 pacing problem shows, because Frozen knows it wants to end Act 1 with Let It Go. So
Let It Go is very early in the film.
Yeah.
And Let It Go is extremely early in the film.
Aladdin ends Act 1 with Friend Like Me, which are both earlier in the film than... And so they have Act 1 problems of just killing a lot of time. But it's also...
But it allows Jasmine to get her I Want song, which she doesn't have in the film.
And their family shows. Yeah, that's not the one I begrudge as much as A Million Miles Away.
Okay, yeah.
Because I like Beyond These Palace Walls. Yeah. That's my favorite of all of the Jasmine songs. I prefer that to the...
Speechless.
Space silence, I will not be silent. All I know is I won't go on speechless. Any news on the Waitress DVD UK release? It's on Prime and released on DVD in USA. Watson Stage said it was out, but I can't find it anywhere. I don't know. Maybe this is a quest. Maybe we need to go out into the world and try and find Waitress. What did you think of Oh Mary? I saw it on Broadway, thought I would love it, but I didn't. Oh, no, we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it.
We thought it was very funny, and I've only been hearing great things from everyone else who's seen it.
Amy, you're really excited about A Knight's Tale.
I am excited about A Knight's Tale. I'm very intrigued about it because it's going to be jukebox.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see how they're going to bring it to the stage. How we're going to do jousting on stage. That's my question. The whole plot is about jousting. How are we doing that?
I agree. A Two Strangers film would be very cute.
That would be cute. Yeah. I enjoyed it. The Stephen Sondheim Society were there, and they did a Q&A after the show. I was sat at the same table as the chair of the society. Oh, was that Tina? We love Tina. I can't remember what show this was that I asked you about, but I asked you what you thought of it, and now this is the response.
Was that Marry Me a Little?
Yes. Thank you. Good memory. Well done.
I'm really excited about that Deaf West production
with Mason Alexander Park.
Yeah,
in it. Oh, who is then coming here to do The Tempest?
It's that way round.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because American Idiot's in rehearsal right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Mason Alexander Park stays booked.
Oh, interesting. Is there a star normally on that word with this new production, or is it just because of writing it on the chat?
I don't know.
I hadn't thought about that.
I recommend watching the two. Jonathan, I know you do, and I will. I promise. I'll watch them this time. I maintain, if you're adapting something for the stage, and I know Kate Reinking feels the same way, it needs to be able to stand by itself. I don't think homework should be necessary. However, having now done it that way, I will watch the films. I will watch the films, Jonathan. They're even weirder than the musical. Well, that's
not going to help him.
No, it's not. And they don't have Rachel Bay Jones in, so I'm not going to have. I'm going to message you the whole time, being like, Jonathan, I'm not having a good time. We need redemption for Jeremy Jordan as the Greatest Showman, and also Finding Neverland, because when I asked him when I don't have enough hair, when I interviewed Jeremy Jordan, which you can watch on my YouTube channel, and asked him if there were any shows he'd ever done that he wished were filmed, he said Finding Neverland, because he is still very proud of the version that they did, and he didn't get to go to Broadway with it because of what happened with the casting. So I wonder if, I think Jeremy Jordan would do a West End show if the right show came along.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why. I think he'd want to take it off.
I don't know why he wouldn't.
He's been over here for his concerts, and he did Bonnie and Clyde over here.
And he loved that experience. Yeah. So I wonder if he would do Finding Neverland if they offered it to him over here. And I think, like, Sutton Foster made Anything Goes sell very well. I think Jeremy Jordan would sell well over here. If
he can sell it for his concerts, I think he can sell definitely in a show.
Yeah. I find it funny that Here We Are was announced for the National while I was driving past it. You made it happen. You made it happen. Talking about Here We Are, could we see any more of the American cast transfer? Also, who do you think Rory Kinnear is playing? Good question. That is a good question. I think Rory Kinnear is playing Stephen. Oh, I'm normally so good with names. What is happening this evening? Philippa Sue's husband. He was in
Stephen Pascal.
Thank you. Stephen Pasquale. I think Rory Kinnear is Stephen Pasquale.
Okay. Yeah.
I think. But I don't know. He could equally be...
Who do you think will be in David Hyde Pierce's role?
I just don't know. We could see more of the American cast transferring, and they're just doing contract negotiations. As we learned from Andrew Rannells, you don't announce before the contracts are signed. Could Only Fools and Horses be something you see in December in its 3-week London run? I don't know that that's necessary in the nicest possible way. I think my thoughts about Only Fools and Horses are kind of a foregone conclusion. I was more interested in seeing it when Diane Pilkington and Oscar Conan Murray were in it, I will be honest. Nothing against the current cast. Some brilliant people are going into it. It's just, I don't know that it's destined ever to be a show that I will enjoy. And I think I'd be not enjoying it for the wrong reasons. Just because it's not for me. It's not for me.
Oh, I loved the TV series. So
it's yeah. I never.
We have different things. I grew up watching it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was always on. I heard Hannah Waddingham was asked to play Marianne.
Is that the role that people rumored at points was going to be Jane Krakowski?
Yeah. I don't know if Hannah Waddingham would work for me as Marianne necessarily, but I'm willing to go see her do absolutely anything.
But I guess the weird thing about that show is, though, here we are in America, the accents are all American, but it's a French musical. So it could be with British accents or French accents.
Is it French?
The films are. There's 2 French films.
I didn't know the films were French.
That's why it's French. That explains the absurdity, because it's French. It's French.
Why did I think one of the films was Spanish?
It's definitely European.
I knew it was European. I'm famously horrible at geography.
Maybe it is Spanish, but it's definitely European.
Brian has an apology. Would you like it filmed? Yes,
it
please.
Does canonically take place in America?
The musical does, yeah. Yes, Brian, I don't know what you're apologizing for, but I'm already excited about it. Cinemas should show archive pro shots. There was a bit of a screening of a few pro shots at the V&A last year. Randomly, a lot of things we didn't know had been filmed. They have this archive that they were announcing, and they showed a few things. They showed the Scottsboro Boys. They were going to show Spring Awakening from the Almeida, and then I think they cancelled it. They showed Tokyo Rose. They showed a few things. What musical do you think could do the next TV casting show? Oh, I never know. And I love those, but I never know how to predict.
Have some biscuits.
Are you gonna have some biscuits? Okay.
I didn't have dinner.
That's true. Hello, Fraser David. Listen to some of the soundtrack to The Notebook. Really liking the musical numbers. I hope you're both well. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed The Notebook cast recording. Did you guys see Jamie Moscato in concert in July? We didn't, sadly, but he is one of our most talented. I wouldn't be surprised if he does the Moulin Rouge International Tour. I've said it. I've said it. Growing up with Clueless, it is nostalgia. Nervous about the musical, like Mean Girls. I liked the songs from Clueless that we heard at a launch for it the other day. Hello, Glenn in Singapore. Hello to you. Yeah, the lighting on stage makes you think popular is nighttime. I agree. I'm against screens that are computerized to switch scenes like Mean Girls. I think Mean Girls does it really well. I think it's about a world where everyone's on their phones, and that's how they see it. Oh, okay. The Broadway Journal thing was inaccurate, I think is what Brian is now saying. I, Brian the BA, being of sound mind and body, we'll debate that later, fell victim to the Broadway Journal relying on artists not understanding financial math to write a clickbait article to make people think. Operation Mincemeat. I'm waiting for the next message. Will the Wiz come over to the West End? Well, there was a regional production of The Wiz up in Manchester that couldn't transfer to the West End because of the Broadway revival. So if the Broadway revival doesn't plan to come to the West End, then that's just rude. Frozen didn't have pacing problems. Frozen has huge pacing problems. I am very sorry to tell you. Frozen in Act 1, they are killing so much time before letting go. They are basically shoveling snow waiting for that song. Still waiting on Brian's next message. Finances were unreasonable, making many think the show goes. Fine. Okay. So the Mincemeat controversy that Brian said was life-changingly controversial is not life-changingly controversial. All of an hour later, we'll all recover. Good. The backdrops looked AI generated. In what? In Mean Girls?
Mm.
Oh, in The Wiz. Yeah, and I heard people say that, but also I'm not going to The Wiz to look at the backdrops. I'm going to The Wiz to listen to the sunset, because those vocals, we didn't see the show, but we heard the vocals in Broadway and Bryant Park, and my God, those were some voices. And yeah, I just think even if the creative choices aren't that strong, it would still be good to see the show in London. Which Nancy song is your favorite from Oliver? I mean, there is As Long As He Needs Me, and then there is everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I like a bit of Papa. I like a bit of small pleasures, who could deny us these? They've changed the lyrics in As Long As He Needs Me for the new production. I don't know how I feel about that, but I haven't seen it yet. Who would you cast as Ava Peron in a West End revival next year? I promise it's not who's rumoured to be doing it, because I simply would not have thought about that. Emma Kingston. She's already done the international tour, but she's perfect for it. Sadly, she hasn't really had the opportunities she's deserved here in the UK as Emma Kingston. She's an extraordinary talent, though, with one of the really great voices at the moment. Didn't get to watch Into the Woods in Regent's Park. I don't think Regent's Park does revivals of old shows, though. They do. They revived Carousel a few years ago. They revived Fiddler on the Roof is there right now, which is a very old show. Sound of Music they've done at Regent's Park. Are you in New York? Not currently. Not this month. We've scrolled away, but I'm close. Big hugs from Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, thank you so much.
I think I've learned how to say Melbourne, as in not saying Melbourne. I'm from
Melbourne.
A place called Bournemouth, and you would pronounce the whole Bourne.
Yeah, it's Melbourne.
All the Bourne. So, but I'm trying it. Melbourne, Australia. Finally getting Hadestown. And apologies for the dreadful Australian accent. I'm excited you're getting Hadestown in Australia. You're also getting Titanic. You're also getting non-replica Dear Evan Hansen.
I've already got Titanic.
Yeah. And thank you very much for the kind words. I know the workshop for The Greatest Showman happened in the UK, but do you think the show will happen here in the UK first or on Broadway? I believe The Greatest Showman is going to be in the UK first. And it's interesting because this seems discernibly like something Disney is now switching gears on, and they are not going Broadway first.
Yeah.
Hercules doing UK first. I think Frozen has been the big change point for them, where they saw it did, because it went to Broadway, they tweaked it for the US tour, then it was more successful in the UK, and then they filmed it in the UK. So they knew that they got it right in London. Yeah. So I think what they want to try and do now is get stuff right in London first, and then take it to Broadway. Yeah. I thought Buñuel was Spanish. That was what I thought, but we don't know things.
I mean, you might be right.
I don't know things about cinema. I'm a theatre person. I have never claimed to be a film pundit or critic.
Either carries on talking about it.
Stephen Muswell.
Oh no, about Bruno.
My friend thought he had a Jeremy Shamos look and was playing his character. That was the other one I was wondering about, was whether he could be. I don't think Jeremy Shamos's part was big enough for him to transfer. Much as I would love him to as well. I may be confused because Louis Buñuel was whose name I'm probably mispronouncing, was a Spanish Mexican who worked in France and Spain as well as Mexico. I'm already confused, so I dare say that is why I'm
Mhm.
confused. Yes. I think you two are both so cool. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Brian.
Have you ever been called cool before?
Yeah.
I have not. Aaron's very cool, but that's a new one. I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you. I did not grow up cool. Have you seen Here You Come Again yet?
No, which is sad.
I
but-
really want to.
But now it's announced it's London Run at the Riverside. We've got to.
I feel like we'll go see it at Riverside.
Yeah, that's nice in there.
A little bit of Dolly for Christmas. Absolutely, why not? With so many musicals based on real-life historical events, is there any historical events or figures you'd like to see on stage? Someone online is composing and writing a Julius Caesar musical. Interesting. I would love to see... here's a good plug, actually, because I was thinking I would love to see more queer history theatricalized on the stage, but not in a whitewashed, male-centric way, because that's the worry about how these narratives can become. Like, there was that Stonewall movie that was very Stonewall was about gay white men.
Yeah.
I would love to see trans history on stage. I would love to see something around Stonewall. There's a really lovely film called Pride, about the intersection of the gay rights movement and the miners' strike,
which is a bit of like Billy Elliot-esque vibes.
That allegedly is being musicalized
Mm-hmm.
At the Old Vic, hopefully at some point during Matthew Warchus's soon-ending tenure there as artistic director. Possibly it will be his big finale. But yeah, that's my answer. You got any historical events or characters you'd like to see musicalized?
Not really. A lot of ones I can think of have already happened.
Yeah. And I think something like A Come From Away would never have been my answer to that question because we don't know that story. And I think a lot of them come from like...
I agree. I feel like it's stories that you don't know about.
Yeah. Any tips on breaking into the industry? Recently graduated in tech and worked on fringe freelance for. I mean, we're not the people to ask on that front, but Theatrecraft... I don't remember what time of year Theatrecraft comes around at, but I think...
All ages. What, like... I don't fully know what...
Yeah, that's like a good job fair opportunity thing. Already booked for Theatrecraft. Cool, fine, November 11th. Yeah, I went once to Theatrecraft and thought it was really great.
Go there.
Lovely. Going to, I think, local theatres and regional theatres are probably going to be more receptive to early career tech people, I think.
Also, I think it's just keeping an eye online of stuff. Or it's weird because I feel like sometimes those things appear more in just networking. Weirdly, in this industry, I feel like it's...
And fringe shows provide good pathways as well, because they're like...
And also, drama school shows all have people that work on that element as well.
Yeah.
That aren't people in the university, the drama school.
Will my show be on YouTube? I plan to upload a little bit of highlights to show you how much fun it is, but currently I can't confirm that that's going to be possible because that's not the nature of my arrangement with the venue. So if you want to see my show, it's only £10 for a live streaming ticket, which is even less in dollars.
If you could be a theatre tech, what job would you do? That's what Iona's just asked.
Oh, if I could be a theatre tech, what job would I do?
Maybe
Follow
not.
spot operator. I can do that. I can't like mics go out during a show. I'm having an anxiety attack. That's too much stress, and I'm secretly a technophobe. So we shouldn't be in a position where I need to save the show, but I can operate a follow spot. What about yourself?
Like an ASM or a DSM.
I actually wasn't thinking broadly enough. I'd be a good...
That's not really tech.
I'd be a good dresser.
I'd already thought this, but that's broader than tech.
Oh, okay.
But like...
It's crew, isn't it?
But I think Dress It would be fun. Because I feel like you'd learn so much about like the intricacies of theatre.
Yeah. Isaac says, we were having a discussion today about who might be cast for the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe this Christmas at Leeds Playhouse. Who do you think it could be? I wouldn't be surprised if some of the
we'll find out tomorrow.
West End cast returned. If like,
do you mean the last touring cast?
Maybe I do.
So it was toured since.
Maybe I do. I wouldn't be surprised if some alumni of that production return. Yeah. Is what I will say. This is about the films. So here we are is based on two films. The Exterminating Angel is Mexican and The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie is French. We're both right. Yay. Ow.
What happened?
You high-fived me harder than I thought, which is fine, but it pushed my hand back and I scratched my nose.
Oh no.
right under there. Ow. 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 Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding?
You're fine.
Has it opened a wound? Nose. Will I faint? No, I'll be fine. Ow. Oh. Are you going to see the Les Mis Arena Spectacular? Just saw it in Belfast, loved it. Hopefully. Big Les Mis fan here. Aaron's wearing a Les Mis t-shirt.
I only put that was karma for the spit in the eye.
That was. The real ones remember me accidentally spitting in Aaron's eye, talking about who would win in a fight between Gavroche and the Artful Dodger.
Don't say it again.
Jocelyn, correcting last post, by all shows in Regent's Park, I mean shows that have been done in Regent's Park. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, that makes more sense. That they wouldn't do a show they'd done before. I mean, there's only so many shows. I think...
They did JCS twice, though. But it was the same production.
I think if we went back in their history... They probably have done things twice, and I, with different artistic directors changing hands, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again.
Yeah.
Bloody great pronunciation of Melbourne. There you go. Your accent is pretty decent. Fan bloody tastic with a kangaroo emoji. No, it's all gone. It's gone down the toilet. I think The Greatest Showman would be good at Soho Place. What on earth are you talking about?
But I can't. No, I get where that's probably come from originally, though, because of the seating arrangement is more like a circus big top.
Either we need it to be an actual circus big top, or it needs to be somewhere like the Palladium or Drury Lane. It can't be at Soho Place. That's far too small. That's not the greatest show. That's the most intimate show. Have you listened to Amber Davies' podcast?
I've listened to bits of it.
You have, haven't you? Yeah.
I've not listened to like full episodes. I think I've only watched like one or two of like the full one, like full bits, but I watched a lot of the clips.
I keep seeing great clips, and I love the sharing of the performer perspective. I think actors talking to other actors.
They
really
relate.
Interesting. They can do a trapeze in that Soho Place, but think bigger, people. Think bigger.
Yeah, we know Drury Lane can be turned into the round.
Am I the only one who thinks the Shucked thing about Regent's Park isn't true because maybe he misspoke or something else, as I just cannot see Shucked going there as well as heard rumours for something else? There's multiple shows in the Regent's Park season, and a few years ago they did 2 musicals. So if you've heard a musical, it may be a different musical. The fact that it's been published by Broadway Direct and it's now been talked about and no one's reached out to offer a correction is suspicious. If he's misspoken, someone would have said something by now.
Yeah.
So yeah. There isn't musicals with lots of lesbian characters on Broadway, but there's more than there used to be. Here is the thing, you are correct, but there are far more than there used to be, because on one of our last trips, I remember being pleasantly surprised by how much lesbian representation there was in the likes of Suffs and in The Lonely Few, which was off Broadway, which wasn't on Broadway. But we'd seen a few things in a row where I was like, yay for WLW representation in theatre. There used to be, you could count on one hand the number of musicals, not even on Broadway right now, but like at all that had been written that featured lesbian characters, and mostly it was bisexual women and mostly it was bad tropes. Like, I love you, Rent, but it's not great lesbian and bisexual women representation.
I don't know. So we kind of go live once a week is kind of the thing.
Yes.
And then if you follow our friend Kate Ranking, Kate does a live every Thursday on TikTok, and we're normally in the comments, or sometimes we might guest a beer. So that's kind of the other place that we are every week. Some weeks we'll do more than one. It depends if we're in or not. It's kind of Wednesdays become one we've been more on, but like it varies depending on when we're at the theatre, because that's the time that we get back. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. You guys seem the perfect couple. Do you ever argue? Had my 30th wedding anniversary yesterday.
Congratulations.
Love him, but not always easy. We argue. I think it's probably a bad sign if you don't ever argue.
Yeah.
I think
annoyingly
there needs to be passion.
But annoyingly, most of the time it gets that's a move. But annoyingly, that sometimes it's more random like theatre things that get us heated. And we're like, why are we arguing about different opinions on a show?
We argue
like
about stupid stuff. It's not like plans for the future or like.
It's never serious. It's normally something about where we both go, why are we discussing this so like this when it's not that important?
Or it's like speculative stuff. And it's like, I can't believe you think that that's going to go to that theatre, like that producer would make that decision, or like they would do that with this show. I just don't see it. And I'm like, or like, it's never happened. Like you're saying it's happened and it hasn't happened. And then you'll be like, actually, it has because of this. And I'll be like, yeah. So yeah, it's not a fiery debate.
It's very, very rarely ever anything more than just talking about theatre and getting heated.
And also, I think everyone you see on social media, like, we don't put a camera on ourselves when we're in the middle of an argument or when we're having a grey day. Like we're here today, like, oh, let's do a live.
Yeah.
Like we're feeling good about it. We wouldn't do it if we weren't feeling up to it. So like you see positive things. Thank you. That's a very nice thing to say.
Yeah.
But I think you see positive things on social media. But yeah, I like you.
Yeah.
Are you planning on being in New York around the election? If we happen to be in New York around the election, it's not because we're planning to be there for that reason. It's just
that's when it works.
A timing thing. Do the V&A film touring shows? I don't believe so, no. What do you think of Samuel Beckett? I went to see Waiting for Godot, which was both weird and wonderful. It wasn't until I read the program that I learned that this play was Beckett's reaction to World War II. I truthfully haven't given Beckett enough of a chance, but not my fave. I really struggle with Waiting for Godot.
I think in answer to that question on here, I think Little Shop, I feel like the off-Broadway production wants to come here. Well, we've been told it wants to come here.
We've been being told that for a long time.
Yeah, I think, and it wouldn't surprise me if it is trying to. It's just theatre space. Little Shop was kind of one of those that, like, I mean, at one point, the Regent's Park production was looking to transfer in.
Yeah.
So if I'd heard that, I was looking at the Dominion at one point.
Here's something completely speculative that may change your mindset around the idea of these transferring shows. As you could probably be safe to assume right now that there is a show eyeing the Dominion, waiting to see how Prada does. There will be a show eyeing the Criterion, waiting to see how Titanic does. And there may be literally shows like booked or like poised to go into the Adelphi and the Savoy because they're very popular theatres. There will be shows ready, waiting in the wings.
And it's how many years they're going to wait.
Yeah. But a lot of them, they will wait to get the theatre they want. They will not come in sooner.
And we just don't have that turnover that Broadway ends up having.
Jamie Moscato was great in Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Really good. What do you both think of Anastasia, the animated film, not the Broadway musical?
I know I've watched the film. I know I have. And I know I've watched the spin-off. The sequel that is the sequel, but kind of isn't.
I don't even know what that is.
Talk.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I also can't remember it.
I can't remember it.
It's one of these ones where I know I watched it because remember having the McDonald's Anastasia and Anastasia toy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so vaguely that I know it.
Have you both ever worked in a theatre?
Hi, Anna.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us.
I worked in a theatre. I worked at the New Victoria Theatre in Woking. I was an usher, but it was also a cinema. It was a theatre and a cinema, and it was in the Topfer Shopping Centre. It's still there in Woking. I like it. It's one of my favourite touring theatres. But it's in the Topfer Shopping Centre, and it was also a cinema. And I loved the theatre shifts, and I hated the cinema shifts because for like 40 minutes. All the screens would go in 10 minutes apart, and like you do all that, and then there would just be like an hour of nothing, and you weren't meant to sit down, and there's nothing happening for an hour because they're all in the cinema. And so you just walk around and like make sure no one's filming it. But yeah, have you worked in a theatre, Aaron James?
In what way? Because I worked for theatres.
You still do work for theatres?
Always.
Yeah.
For like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. Apparently they restored the tempos back to the original in New York for cabaret, so it's 10 minutes shorter now and sounds like good old cabaret again. Philip, I feel like you have a complex around change. This is what I'm going to say to you, is the idea of like how a show should be and what else it can be. When are you coming to Los Angeles? Would love to. Would love to.
Disneyland. Disneyland is a...
Don't know. I think it would take a specific show to be like, oh, we have to go there for that. So that's usually what motivates a lot of our travelers to be like, we have to go there for that. Like Hamburg, I'd wanted to for a long time, but Hercules going there made it like, now we've got to go.
And like, it's the amount of time as well that we're away from the UK because there's events and things that we need to be at, or meetings and different things. And it's like, can we afford to not be in the UK while those things are happening?
Yeah. New York liked Phantom more than Les Mis, and London likes Les Mis more than Phantom. I think London likes Les Mis and Phantom pretty evenly, owing to the fact that they're still both running after 3 decades, nearly 4 decades. Need an On the Town revival again. 2017 was a long time ago, really. I've never seen On the Town. Did you see Regent's Park?
No.
No.
But that's an interesting topic, because who is the new AD?
Drew McConey.
Who choreographed On the Town?
Drew McConey.
Yeah.
Christopher Ashley is going to be the artistic director of Roundabout Theatre Company with a bigger focus on new musicals. This is huge news. It is.
And I'm intrigued because their theatre that they have, the 2 theatres that they have on Broadway, 2? Do they have 3? 3.
Roundabout has Stephen Sondheim, Studio 54, and Todd Hames.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, like, with that, how... Because so often with their scheduling and their programming of ones that Roundabout are really involved in, that's mainly just at the Todd Hames. The other 2, well, the Stephen Sondheim's currently on a rental, but like, and I gather, and it must be the same with the Studio 54's been at rental quite a lot. So
I think when the Nathan Lane play went in there, that was a Roundabout.
But this is what I mean. I feel like if you've got Christopher Ashley focusing on musicals, that'll be interesting to see what that means of how Roundabout are going to look after their venues, because musicals need more space.
Yeah,
Christopher
Ashley, of course, who directed Come From Away.
What level maths did you teach, Michael?
What level maths did I teach? I taught GCSE maths, which is the level maths that everyone in this country legally has to pass when they're aged 15, 16. But I taught that to students doing vocational courses, like students learning to do hairdressing, construction, motor vehicle maintenance, all sorts of other things, who had to retake those exams because they didn't pass them the first time. So I taught GCSE maths to 16 to 18-year-olds and beyond.
Oh, interesting mention about Troubadour. But I think that Troubadour, we don't know how much longer Troubadour can be a theatre for, because Troubadour, Wembley Park exists in the same way that White City existed in King's Cross, is that the agreement normally with those places are that they're a theatre whilst the construction of the buildings that are planned to go there are not there. So it's kind of one of those. But I feel like Starlight is probably going to be there as long as Starlight can be there for as long as it kind of is a theatre, and I think will be there as long as it's a theatre. I can see what you mean about it becoming a big top, but I feel like that won't help with future plans for that show, and I don't think Disney would do something that can't be easy to translate into different countries with that type of property. I think with Great Showman, you need to look closer to Moulin Rouge And I think that's its like comparable.
Yeah. Avia is here. Avia says, give us a demo of your math teacher skills.
Oh, but Avia, what?
I want to do a demo of my math teacher
that?
skills.
Avia, can you DM me about the second thing you put? Because I'm intrigued.
This is a demo of my math teacher skills. Does everyone know the meme of, this is before the troubled times, of Will Smith doing this? Like the meme of Will Smith doing that with his arms. I used to use that to teach my students who didn't like maths, but were young people who lived on the internet, about inequalities and about the symbols that mean less than or greater than, because they would often lose marks in exams because they would get them the wrong way around. And I was saying, if Will Smith is pointing to it like this, it means the thing he is pointing to is great, because the origin of that meme is he was on the red carpet with his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, before the troubled times, before the Oscars, and he was saying, this is great. So I said to my students, whatever Will Smith's arms are pointing to is great. So that was how I used a meme to teach inequalities in maths. I have hundreds of those things in my head, because that was the whole name of the game, was finding different ways to teach those concepts.
I don't know Between the Lines that well, and I really should.
No, especially because it has lesbian mermaids.
I owned the book and I still haven't read it.
Andrew says, I've been wanting to ask you for a while, do you think anything could be done to save ALW's Cinderella? Simply
Europe.
Open it in Europe. Simply
Germany.
Take it to Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, and I think it will do very well, actually. Would Newsies ever come back to London? I know they want to. Theatre shortage. More likely we might see it on tour. Could Greatest Showman work at the Gillian Lynn? The stage revolve they used for Bad Cinderella, where all the chairs also moved, could lend itself well, I think.
That's fun.
It could. A lot of shows play at the Gillian Lynn and simply do not use that feature. I think ever since Bad Cinderella reminded people it existed, everyone's like, everything at the Gillian Lynn must spin. And again, it's what you said. They're not going to do something so specific that they couldn't then bring to Broadway, and they couldn't then...
I also think I can't really tell. I need to look back at the wording that Hercules put out one day, and it's where they were, because I can't tell if it's a long-term thing there or not a long-term thing.
Oh, there's chatter for sure about the Greatest Showman going to...
and the Drury Lane can be turned into a revolt, into a theatre in the round.
Yeah.
And we don't know what they're going to do with the Shakespeare's.
Yeah. I love Adam Gettle and hope his musical Floyd Collins wins Best Revival, or even Pirates of Penzance. The non-profits had beautiful revivals of Camelot and 1776 were unfairly treated. What did Camelot lose Best Revival to? That wasn't this season, that was last season.
That's against Sweeney, and
Sweeney didn't win either. What won Best Revival last season? I can't even remember. Oh, that's going to annoy me now. Somebody knows. Keep The Greatest Showman away, please. You don't have to see it. Blink twice if someone is forcing you to see a musical against your will.
Interesting. I didn't even realise that the Shakespeare's have the usual seating plan, which is hilarious, because that was the whole thing people said they were doing it for, was so that he could do that, but obviously not.
Parade. Oh, yeah. Parade was beautiful. Do you see much of a life for Here We Are being this current momentum? Saw it in New York, not the biggest fan. The cast was great, though, but not sure if there's much there. It will never have a commercial life. It will always be relegated to, like, the artistic corners.
It's so out there that it's very difficult to.
I think there's a clause. I think it wasn't allowed to go to Broadway. I think there was something that precluded it from going to Broadway in the Sondheim estate. I don't think they wanted it to. What TV shows do you enjoy to watch if you ever get the time? Not often, but we are at the moment watching Only Murders in the Building.
Agatha All Along.
We just finished Emily in Paris. When I had more free time, watched The Real Housewives of everywhere, but in particular Salt Lake City and Potomac and all of New York and Beverly Hills. And I'd have started new ones because all the Real Housewives. Because we spend a lot of time thinking at the theatre and seeing intellectually stimulating theatre.
Oh.
So I like to see dumb television. We have tried to catch Aladdin. I feel so bad about this. Where is Aladdin between now and the end of its run? Because we missed it in Bristol. which was our fault.
So I want to see it again.
Yeah, I want to see the Aladdin tour. I've never seen Aladdin in the UK. Any tea you can't share?
Yes,
I don't know what that is.
you do.
Apparently I do. I made a video review of the Rocky Horror Cast with Jason Donovan. Congratulations, Avia. That's huge.
Woo, woo.
A Greatest Showman, but at the Bridge Theatre, would that work? It might, but think bigger. I think bigger, people. Think bigger. What do you think could be the most iconic props or costumes in musical history, both stage and screen, i.e. Dorothy's ruby slippers or the chandelier in Phantom? Most iconic props and costumes in musical theatre history. I mean, I guess now the Dear Evan Hansen blue polo has proved to be quite iconic. But going back further, Phantom's mask, as well as the chandelier, is iconic.
Probably the Glinda and Elphaba's dresses.
Yeah, the bubble dress, I think, is
from
Wicked is the...
I mean, the 6 costumes now.
The 6 costumes, for sure. The Hamilton costumes as well. Iconic prop from the world of musical theatre.
For flag in Les Mis.
The Les Mis flag. Is the barricade itself a prop? Or is it a set piece?
Set piece, I'd say.
Enjolras blazer.
Yeah.
Vest, even waistcoat. On the other hand, the Regent's Park shuck debate, if it is real and everyone talking about it, wouldn't the director of Regent's Park have made a statement about whether it was real or not? No.
No, if it's real, they won't say anything because they want to do their announcement how they want to do it.
Yeah, they'll
just go quiet. They won't say anything either way because that means that nobody knows.
Yeah, and major outlets haven't posted about it, right? Like, it's just us making a noise about it.
Yeah, no big has covered it.
Which means...
Aladdin's in Birmingham in October. That might work.
That might be doable. Watch this space.
That might work. And then Glasgow in November and Liverpool in December.
The fact that major outlets haven't reported on Shucked is because their editors have presumably quietly reached out to Regent's Park and gone, is this legit? And Regent's Park have gone, yes, but please wait until we have a full season announcement in a few weeks or a few months' time. And they've gone, cool. The heck was that?
It said 50%. Oh, I'm 50% towards my live goal. Thank you so much, my phone, for telling me with loud sounds. Thank you so much, everyone. So, what am I? I keep changing this goal, so I will just say I am now halfway away from having enough brat apples to being ever. This is so weird saying this really loud. Like saying it out loud.
My gosh.
It's a fun thing that happens, but it's weird.
The Golden hasn't had a musical since Avenue Q. Operation Mincemeat is taking over after Stereophonics Spring 2025. Not yet announced. Hearsay, I'll talk about it when it is. What Brandon Jacob Jenkins play should I read next? Have you read Appropriate/Appropriate? Why don't they bring Jimmy Moscato over to New York since he was so good? Because you've got a lot of good people over there as well. John Cardoza is also terrific. Do you know that? I do. Yes. Haven't seen it, but I know it. What makes the Adelphi and... My goodness.
80%.
What makes the Adelphi and the Savoy such desirable theatres? Their capacity, the size of the...
Did we just hit it? I think we just hit it. Did we just hit the goal? We hit the goal, everyone. Sam and Jonathan, you two, incredible. Thank you so much.
What makes the Adelphi and the Savoy such desirable theatres? The capacity, the size of the stage, and I don't know if it's like the fly space and the wing space, but for whatever reason, those seem to be the ones that specifically Broadway musical transfers seem to want to go to.
And I wonder, I don't know if any of you others make those loud noises if they're not on a live goal, but if so, Mickey will jump at them, which will make you laugh.
Consumed with TikTok.
Let me make a really low goal one just to see if we can do it again, because that was quite fun.
Could Appropriate come back to London? The last production was the 2019 European premiere at the Donmar. We don't see Broadway plays transferring nearly often enough. We send more plays over there than we get plays back. Clueless the musical has a whole Broadway cast. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm seeing Rocky Horror in Norwich next year and very excited. I was supposed to see it back in 2023, but I got ill. Oh, well, I'm glad you get to see it. Hope you enjoy. Get ready for a wild night at the theatre. Will you see Cabaret with the new cast when you're in NYC? We will try to, Lisa. We will try to. I don't like how much they cut out of the Mean Girls West End version. The Broadway version is far better and 20 minutes roughly longer. It's happened again. Yeah, matter of opinion. The West End one seems to have been received better. So I guess the prevailing opinion is that this is not sustainable. Can we remedy this?
It's good. Let's come quietly.
Okay. Do you want to answer some of these questions? Do you see Muriel's wedding coming to the West End after it's left?
If it does well.
Depends how it does.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing.
What's Aaron James's job? Good question for you.
It's changed a lot, I feel like, with time, but I've been working as a publicist for quite a few years. So that means that I write press releases, announce shows, work with a lot of different theatres, mainly regional theatres, which is very fun. Yeah. But then also a lot of social stuff now. I feel like whenever people ask me, I'm like, I've been in socials, I've been in marketing, I've been all different things. I feel like my role in theatre keeps just casually adapting as it goes. That's such a fun sound.
How did London receive A Strange Loop? I've never had a musical affect me so strongly. I pray for a North American tour. Did London audiences get it? Not quite as much as I think New York audiences got it, but it was better received here than I worried that it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Philip said, no, that's not true at all. I loved the new company and I think I'll love Sunset, but the original tempos are better for Cabaret. It's more musically thrilling. That's not just my opinion. It's what the critics are saying on Twitter too. Then it's also their opinion, but neither of those things makes it the objective truth because it's subjective. Hence theatre. Do you miss teaching? Were the students respectful or really deviant? I had a lot of both. They were both. Because they didn't want to. They were studying it because they had to, and not because they wanted to. But also respect at the colleges where I was teaching was an earned two-way thing, and it was a mutual respect thing. And I think if you entered into that environment, especially as a young teacher, and I think it was easier for me as a young teacher in many ways, if you entered into that environment with the wrong mindset of like going in with authority and condescension, that would not have gone well. And if you go in offering mutual respect, then you get that back.
You were just wearing a good crown.
Was that good for me? Lovely. Fantastic. Mickey J, when is your Oh Mary review dropping? It's not. I really liked it. It's very funny. We saw it off Broadway. We weren't invited to review. It was right at the end of its off Broadway run, so I never ended up doing one. And now it's on Broadway.
Yeah, we got rush tickets for the end of the last run.
Here's the thing: if the shows want me to do the reviews, then treat me like a critic. That's how that works, basically. And we weren't, and it's not that O'Mary weren't doing that. It's just that we weren't there at the right times, either for its off-Broadway opening or for its Broadway opening. Aaron, love your new vlogs, says Amy. There you go. You are not paying attention.
No, I saw that earlier. Thank you so much. I'm kind of getting into the flow with it, but still trying to get used to it.
If you could live the rest of your life in a musical theatre costume, what would it be? Oh,
it needs to be comfortable.
It would need to be comfortable. The rest of my life. I could wear the Enjolras Les Mis costume for the rest of my life.
That's too much material. Like too tight. So just to wear that and not change.
You want something like pajamas, don't you?
Yeah, or something that's like has options, but it's still technically wearing the same costume.
Yeah, not Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast.
No.
Yes, so if you don't know, Aaron James has recently shared some new theatre-going vlogs on YouTube. If you're subscribed to me, make sure to subscribe to him after this live. You can find his account. It's linked in the title of this live, where it says @AaronJames.
And if you aren't following Mickey on TikTok, he has a TikTok account called MickeyJoTheatre. Actually, to say to both, Mickey is very close to hitting 10K on TikTok. So please, so if you're not following them already, it would be very cool if you did, because we might get him over it.
Yeah. The rumor I heard about Regent's Park, I've seen a few other people talk about, is a Frank Wildhorn show. Not sure what one. Yes, so I've heard this, but possibly I've heard this from you. I can't remember. But yeah, they're not necessarily mutually exclusive. Yes, I would love to see more of Philip. I'd love to see more of Midtown's theatres restored. Hi, Shane. I hope the original production of Newsies tours is superior to this new immersive one. Well, the UK Newsies is the Newsies we have in the UK, and it would be that one. Could Newsies work in Regent's Park? It could, but not that same. Well, it could be that.
It could be.
You wouldn't have your King of New York lamps moment.
Yeah.
A lot of it would have to be restaged. A different production of Newsies, I think, would be lovely in Regent's Park. Good grief. I keep nearly swearing when that happens. Or blaspheming at the very least.
You know this, that you say that people are going to get more excited.
By the way, heard you mention Penny Dreadful. Never met anyone else who's seen that show. I truthfully haven't. I have a friend who has seen it. Amazing cast all around. But was Patti LuPone in it as well? I think Patti LuPone was in it. Amazing cast all around. But Billie Piper was truly sensational in that show. Also loved her in Yerma. I still need to watch that on NT at home. But we were robbed when we didn't get Billie Piper's Sally Bowles in the Cabaret revival.
Jocelyn, that is the hardest question. That is literally the hardest question. And kind of any of them would win. Like, I'm just so happy that they've all got those award nominations, because it means. So Jocelyn asked, who do we think could win the stage debut award for Best Composer? And I'm just going to stand a little soapbox right now. We have this award for the stage debut awards, yet we do not have an Olivier Award for Best Composers.
There's no Olivier Award for Best Original Score.
So, just saying.
The Olivier's.
The fact that they can get
award for Book of the Musical.
But I'm so happy that they've all got this nomination, because it will mean so much to them, and mean that, like, give them something that they can put on their CDs that will help with getting more of their work commissioned.
This is where everyone was saying parade. What are you most looking forward to with Hercules? Seeing British talent in the show. How different do you think it's going to be from its European counterpart? I think it'll keep evolving, but not too wild a step away from it, as was New Jersey to Hamburg. It wasn't a huge departure, but it was significantly changed. That sounded like a contradiction. It wasn't meant to be. Were you in town for the Spring Awakening reunion with Jamie Moscato and Jack Wolf? I think it was the same weekend we were doing a live show at the Phoenix Arts back in May.
Ellen put, I'm so excited for your live show, Mickey, even if it's at 4:30 a.m.
I'm so sorry, Australia. I apologize for the time difference, but I'm honoured, and I'm glad you think it's worth it. Do they still use Shakespeare's Globe Theatre? Yes, all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
All the time.
Any thoughts about Lin-Manuel Miranda's upcoming Warriors?
Would people like to hear Mickey talk about it?
I don't have enough to say about it because I haven't heard it. The casting is exciting for the album. That's not to suggest that'll be the casting for the stage production. It seems like it's going to be huge. What is happening here? I'm very excited to hear it because our friend Kate has heard it and said it was really exciting. And Kate is a discerning person when it comes to musical theatre scores. So I think Warriors is definitely worth looking forward to. Have you ever seen Fantasmic? No, because I've only ever been to Disneyland Paris. Have you seen Fantasmic?
Yes.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is riveting television, isn't it though?
I loved Fantasmic. I can't wait for you to see it because it's like very like massive Disney spectacle.
Yeah. Have you watched Aubrey and Patty's Hot Ones? Yes, it was very entertaining, but Joanna Gleason did not steal Patti LuPone's Tony Award for Patti LuPone belting the boat. Joanna Gleason deserved that Tony Award. Also, I saw the Almeida Spring Awakening Pro Shot in the cinema, and it was fantastic, so I hope it gets a wider release. Me too. I saw that at the Almeida.
I didn't get to see it.
And I would love to watch it again, knowing how many of the cast have now gone on to other things. I saw Aladdin in the West End, and we had a pause right after A Whole New World. Are you ready for Wicked? Excited, yes. Ready? I don't think so. Literally unprepared. Are the new Wicked videos giving everyone hope the movie will be good? I'm actually hopeful now. Me too. I think it looks great. The Greatest Showman at the Royal Albert Hall. We've gone too big. Okay, I know I told you to slightly smaller. Do you think Catch the Jellicle Ball will have a London run? I think it's too New York-centric culturally to really make sense.
Don't worry, I'm gonna pause on the live goals for a bit.
Why does Donmar do so many American pieces? They also do Shakespeare, which is quite British.
I think there has to be a way, though, also for American playwrights to get their work put on here, because actually I think it's really difficult for American playwrights more than musicals to get put on in the UK.
Yeah.
Compared to British playwrights, I think that's an opposite that we have.
What is your favorite off-Broadway show you have seen? Mine's The Connector. Or Teeth.
I say those two in Titanic, but I loved Little Shop.
Yeah,
because it's just quintessential Little Shop.
Yeah. My sister and myself watched the Burlesque movie the other day before we see the musical on Saturday. Enjoy the musical. Let us know what it's like. Do you have any favorite stand-up comedians? Have you seen any live? Yes, I've seen a fair few at the Edinburgh Fringe. I like Susie Russell. There's a lot that I love just seeing clips of on social media. I like Rachel Paris. All Brits, basically. I like... every time Matteo Lane pops up on social media doing something, I think he's hilarious. Have you heard anything about the Wedding Banquet musical that uses Bacharach songs? No.
Is that My Best Friend's Wedding?
Reese Nicholson is also hilarious. Yes, he's very funny. He was at the Fringe this year. Didn't see him, but
our friend
did, yeah. I just asked you if you ever argue. If this thing keeps going off and cheering and making coin noises, I can see an argument coming. Only kidding. Or are you? Tours in the US often go to regional theatres with turntables and 2K seats. That is different in the UK. Most British touring theatres, consider how much smaller as well. Like a US tour is traveling far greater distances than the tours going around different theatres in the UK. It's all much closer together here. We don't have those kind of vast spaces. We have decent big regional theatres, but they're not all equipped for revolves necessarily, or they don't have built-in revolve. I truthfully I don't really know, but it is a different set of circumstances. We got cut off, but why do you think Mean Girls is doing better in West End than Broadway? Commercially driven stuff does better in the West End. Mean Girls is always going to do well with a teen market and a young adult market, and they can afford to see the show here. And they couldn't afford to keep going back and seeing it on Broadway. Broadway tickets are too expensive to engage a teenage audience long term. And so they're able to help support it here in a way that they couldn't in New York.
Again, I feel like we also just there's a lot more love for like films to stage in the UK.
Yeah. Who are some... I'm trying to scroll. It's we've got to the bottom. We've done it. Who are some of your guys' favourite upcoming Broadway and West End performers? Upcoming. Jack Wolf and Liv Andrisier. And I mean, there's so many.
Manisha Spring.
There's so many. Louis Cornet.
Chrissy Beamer.
There's tons. There's tons.
Yeah, I get-
There's so much talent, which is exciting. I think it's a really great time for new, exciting young
It
talent.
excites me
actually.
about Becoming Nancy, because it feels like there's a lot of people in that cast that it's going to put a big spotlight on. Like even like Genevieve Nicole, who's been in the industry for a long while, but this feels like finally seeing her get the roles that she's due.
Patty was in Penny Dreadful. There you go. Will Kerry Ellis ever make a return to the West End? It would depend on the right role.
Evia, we're live on YouTube as well, so it will be there.
Glenn Close was Cuckoo Camp in Sunset Boulevard. Is Nicole giving camp or is the entire thing earnest? No, it is very camp. She has very camp moments. Do you watch The White Lotus? No, but I wanted to. I was sat next to a woman on the plane. I think it was on the way to Brazil, because I'm only ever sat next to you on planes, because I have the window, and then I don't demand the window, by the way. Aaron doesn't like the window on planes.
Yeah, no.
But if I was sat next to someone else, it means I was probably on the way to Brazil. And she just started watching, that was a long flight, and she just started watching The White Lotus, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I should watch The White Lotus. I've been meaning to. And I realized I couldn't, because it looks so weird for me to suddenly be like, oh yeah, I'll do that too. And I'd have been a couple seconds behind, so I'd have like just been naturally looking and getting everything on in advance. But yeah, I want to watch The White Lotus. I don't know where I can outside of being on a plane.
I do feel like I might have actually accidentally started a thing by doing this now with our lives, but it is fun.
Plastics versus Heathers, who would win? I like these questions. I like the violence of them. Plastics versus Heathers, who's winning? The plastics are not equipped for a fight. That bus took her down too easy. I think the Heathers were like easily deceived, but I think it's the Heathers. They come from a darker place. The plastics are just wealthier. Hello in Virginia. Hello. Oh, thank you for the kind words. Are you shouting out Laurie Kinniston as someone who's an exciting rising talent, or are you saying hello to Laurie Kinniston? The Majestic is such a barn. Gypsy has to have stellar reviews to fill.
That's kind of similar with the St. James, but like, if anything could do that, it's revivals, really.
Yeah,
with a big name.
Do you like Jack Whitehall? My students used to say I reminded them of Jack Whitehall, and I think it's just because I had what sounded like to them, because the part of the world we were in, a posh accent and a beard.
Actually, what's interesting with Plastics versus Heathers is none of them actually do anything that, like, when you think about the Heathers, it's not the Heathers that go,
no.
There's things that Heather Duke and Heather Mack do. So it would make me think the Heathers.
But Veronica versus Katie, Veronica, like, they're armed. They've got the mallets. That's all I'm saying. Finally saw Stranger Things front row the other day. I didn't watch the TV series prior, but managed to watch it in 3 days. If you didn't see the series, could you still count the play as a prequel? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I understand the question, but yes. What is Matthew Waters doing after Old Vic? Will he do another new musical? I don't know. You'll have to ask him. I just got back from my London trip. We did the standing tickets for Guys and Dolls, and it was one of the most fun theatre experiences I've ever had. I even got to do a solo at the end dance party. Cannot recommend enough immersive Guys and Dolls, and do the standing. It doesn't feel like standing up for 2.5 hours. It just feels like being at a great party. Who are some of your favourite swings and covers that you have seen? Ooh.
My first West End leading lady was Rebecca Locke as Mary Poppins.
Lauren Byrne did a great job as Cinderella when I saw Cinderella. Oh, there's so many. Oh
Ellen asked us for birthday, Broadway or West End.
That's a very personal question.
I think it depends not just on seeing the shows, but like
the vibes are very different.
Yeah,
West End is more like relaxed and
and like exploring and like the different things around it, like cuisines or tourist bits to see. Like, is the one that you haven't explored more, one you feel more at home in? I think that's kind of a big thing to weigh in. That's very true. But it's still a long way from Australia, no matter where.
Yes. The birthday weekend vlogs, it was just the Friday and Saturday. We planned to do Thorpe Park and Starlight Express on the Sunday, but we got too tired.
I'd also say West End is a lot cheaper than New York.
Yeah.
For shows.
Yeah. Could Stephen Pasquale be an old friend, considering he has ties to Sondheim and he isn't doing the Teeth off Broadway run? It's feasible.
Oh, maybe.
It's feasible. Do you guys prefer the movie or stage ending of Little Shop? The stage ending is sad, but it's the ending.
Yeah.
I think. White Lotus on HBO Max. Yeah, we don't have that.
It'll be on a different streaming service. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know which.
It's like Paramount Plus or something.
Yeah.
Do we have Paramount Plus?
Not anymore.
No. No, I meant this country.
Yes.
Yes, okay. My Fair Lady is coming to Leicester over Christmas. Do you think it will be coming to London after, because most of Curve's shows go on to the West End? Evita didn't.
There's been multiple things that haven't.
Wizard of Oz went to the West End.
Officer and a Gentleman went on tour.
Yeah. No, I don't think so, because My Fair Lady was in the West End too recently.
And we just had it in Leeds as well, so it's like, it's a lot of My Fair Lady.
The TikTok noises are getting a bit distracting, say YouTube.
Don't worry,
You've
we
upset
paused on
YouTube.
it. I said we'd paused on it.
You've upset
I've said we
YouTube.
paused on it. TikTok also asked for a little break, so I'm giving a break.
What will win Best Play at the Olivier's? I think this year's Olivier Award-winning Best Play has yet to reveal itself. Or at least has yet to open. What do you think's winning Best Play at the Olivier's?
Oh,
I think we're out of the loop.
yeah, I don't know what's like the one everybody's talking about.
Yeah, it's a play.
I can think of
revival
ones
year.
that can get noms. Like
It's a big play.
I can see Shifters getting a nom. I can get
Slave Play will be hoping to.
Yeah.
But it's a big play revival.
But I don't know if there's like a front runner currently. And then put Mickey Jo, how do you feel that we both turn 30 next year, you and Ellen?
Shush.
But also,
stop it.
But also, it's only you and Ellen that are turning 30 this year.
Yeah, Aaron, you were born.
In another year, I will turn 30.
Aaron James was born 3 weeks before me, and that's never going to change. That is never going to change. You will always be 3 weeks older than me. Never going to change. On the topic of covers and swings, maybe a return visit to Why Am I So Single for alternates? Yes. And if we could guarantee a time they'll both be on, that would be ideal. I would love to see both of them together because I think that would be fun. But yeah, we'll be back to Why Am I So Single for sure. Are you still planning to visit New York October-ish? Yes. If so, I strongly recommend Off-Broadway's Medea Reversed. Interesting and intriguing. I'll take a look. Will I be taking part in the 24-hour theatre show again? Sadly not happening this year, but hopefully it is next year. Are you seeing Four Felons in a Funeral? We saw it at last year's Edinburgh Fringe. It was cute. Theatre in the UK sounds far more accessible than in the US. Yes and no. Yes and no. Some is and some is not. Can't wait to hear the rest of the... And if you ask people in the UK, they would say that it's not. Will you be doing a video about the recent closure of Cake the Musical? I did a TikTok video about it. I don't want to sort of pile on with like, this show is cancelled, and like, it's already a very sad time for the cast and creatives.
Oh, we saw Four Felons in Edinburgh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear the rest of the Old Friends cast on Broadway other than Stephen Pasquale. Any guesses? Like a Donna Murphy? I really don't know.
It's difficult because it's
Christine Baranski.
Because it's often not just the relationship of the performers with Sondheim. It's also the relationship the performers have with Cameron.
Which makes me wonder if it could be. I'm going to throw some names out there: Will Chase, Liz Calloway, Miss Saigon alumni. Who else might we say? I'm trying to think of people who were in Les Mis in the late 2000s on Broadway. But yeah. Favorite musical based on a movie? A lot more musicals are based on movies than you think. This is the thing. It's not just like the Legally Blondes and the Beetlejuices and...
Oh, Red Pitch, yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah. A Little Night Music was based on a movie. Sunset Boulevard, obviously based on a movie. What is my favorite musical based on a movie? Hairspray is one of the greats. The Producers is one of the greats.
Kinky Boots is based on a movie.
Sure. It's one of my favorites. Shrek. Underappreciated. Story of the name Mickey Jo from your sister. Oh, my sister. So my name is Michael Joseph. As in that's my first and middle name. And my sister called me Mickey Jo growing up and would like write it on birthday cards and things and spelt it wrong without the E. So that's why it doesn't have an E. And then...
Oh, yeah, Sister Act.
We just got used to it. Sister Act, yes. Slave Play has now closed in the West End. Broadway is so much more expensive than West End, but it's very expensive to get to London, and West End is still generally expensive. So tours are so great at making theatre more accessible. Yes, but there are also more deals to be had on West End tickets than tours, generally speaking. Best Musical 2025 Olivier's. Really hard to say at the moment. Benjamin Button wants it. So does Why Am I So Single?
TikTok is like a minute ahead.
Oh. Yeah, the alternates aren't scheduled to go on at the same time in Why Am I So Single, but they could because they'll also cover illness, but they're not scheduled to. Why did Andrew Lloyd Webber sell the other palace? I don't know. Reasons were given around like just focusing elsewhere, and it didn't align with his interests at the time. Seemed to be the prevailing assumption.
So all Tolliver's in Why Am I So Single scheduled shows are Sunday evenings, which I think collects for matinee on the Sunday. It's got 2 Sunday matinees and then a weekday, I think.
Hercules won't be open for the 2025 Olivier's. It shows that have their opening night by mid-February of next year, so not too long in the grand scheme. So like
Titanic will be in that group.
Yeah.
And Great Comet.
I prefer Les Mis.
Oh, Great Comet's going to be in that discussion.
Great Comet is going to be in that discussion. I prefer Les Mis to Miss Saigon. I think I like both, but I think Les Mis is stronger. Yeah, Daniel Evans is very busy being the co-artistic director of the Royal Shakespeare Company now. Your favorite show based on a film, either 9 or High Fidelity? I've never seen High Fidelity all the way through because there was a power cut at the Turbine Theatre, ironically, about 2/3 of the way through the show, and I never saw the ending, and I cannot possibly work out how that man could have been redeemed. Because it's such a dislikable protagonist.
We should get casting these for Great Comet very soon.
Very soon. Nicky M. James and Old Friends. Oh, that would be nice. I agree with your assessment of The Outsiders. I'm glad somebody does. Legally Blonde is one of like the good names of film to stage. I saw a face in the crowd. Not sure what I think about the writing or edits to it. Both the leads were amazing. No production of Phantom will ever be as iconic as Hal Prince's production. Andrew Lloyd Webber said we'll never see that level of grandness or stagecraft again. I dare say you may be right.
Avia asked what are some non-linear musicals other than Time Traveler's Wife? Where they jump. I mean, non-linear, there's Backwards, which is Merrily We Roll Along.
Yeah, last 5 years is different timelines. in opposite directions.
Yeah, that answers like that's part of that one. I mean, if then, because it's two completely different strands. Like Liz and Beth.
This is about cake, isn't it? If a producer makes a financial contractual obligation to a show, do you think they should be allowed to pull the money and cancel the show after 8 days? Yes, because they're not going to be able to pay people. There's no money to pay people. Do you have people keep working and then find out after a month of working that they're not going to be paid for the last month of employment? That's
what happens on Broadway. It's just what we saw with Cake is what happens on Broadway with shows. That is
Water for Elephants is non-linear. Water for Elephants flashes between the past and the present, and there's a few others that like The Notebook. Oh, The Notebook is super non-linear. The Notebook doesn't just flash between the past and the present. Yeah. It's like the present and then the past and then the middle and then the past.
Two different pasts.
The Notebook's all over the place. Yes.
Back to the Future.
Yes. Back to the Future is quite literally non-linear. Yes. Yeah, Merrily.
Show's non-linear as well.
Yeah.
Because they dot about with each one of them differently.
Yeah. What shows are represented on your pillows on your reviews? People will be asking me about these cushions until the end of time. So it's Elder McKinley from the Book of Mormon, and I got that one from Amy Lovett. That's some YouTube lore for you. So if that's in any of her old videos, that's the same cushion. It's a generic Hamilton Revolutionary War one. It's Enjolras from Les Mis, and it's Dear Evan Hansen.
Design in Old Friends.
Trevor Nunn came out swinging at Cameron for changing Les Mis. Did he? Or did he just get a bit sad about it at the Menier Chocolate Factory? I don't know. The fact Spirited Away had a US tour and Totoro in the UK sold so well, maybe Totoro might go to Broadway. I think it could. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I can say
they're moving very slowly. They're like Totoro did extraordinarily well. Like, well, we'll come back again next year. Did extraordinarily well. Well, in a year's time, we'll go to the West End. It'll do extraordinarily well. I think they could. Mincemeat is moving very fast and Totoro is moving very slow, and I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Chip Zine in Old Friends. The male tracks in Old Friends are quite sprightly and dancey and younger. They're more like jazz handsy, like a Gavin Creel wouldn't be a shock.
Avi's asked a really fun question. If you had to design your own costume for a cushion cover, what would yours look like? Oh wait, I read that differently first, which would have been which character would you put on a?
Yeah, I can answer that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know actually.
I think Elphaba and Glinda would be fun as those type of cushions.
They would. I'd like a Donald Duck one. That's not theatre. What is your favourite opening number or 11 o'clock closing number? I love Hello from the Book of Mormon and You Can't Stop the Beat, or The American Dream for an 11 o'clock number. You Can't Stop the Beat is not an 11 o'clock number. You Can't Stop the Beat is an extended finale sequence. American Dream I'll give you for an 11 o'clock. Yes, the stage is high in the Gillian Lynn, but we will all find out together when it opens there, because I didn't think it had the wing space for the cat bus. Evidently, it must. I still kind of wish Totoro had gone to Drury Lane, because we need something to go to Drury Lane that can sell Drury Lane, and we'd have known with Totoro that and they've got the gift shop there. I just think it would have done very well.
This is a TikTok thing. Thank you so much, Nistas, for sending the heart me. Because what I understand is anybody that's got the heart me with the one, this is me trying to understand TikTok lore. Supposedly that means you then join our team. I don't know what the team means. That all is lost on me. But welcome to the team with the hearts. That's what I'm going to say, because I'm very confused by it. But you just had like a heart saying join, like something team. So I was just acknowledging it.
Join my team. Lee Silverman was doing Jamie Lloyd things years ago. Philip, I don't know. These hot takes are coming from, I don't disagree with all of them, but they're coming from such random places. Lee Silverman was doing Jamie Lloyd things years ago and people complained about it. It's now commonplace, the imaginary Scar and Violet. You're not wrong. That was kind of a forerunner of trends that we're seeing now with like the unseen and
so
like going lighter on costuming and props. But that's just one aspect of like Jamie Lloyd. Like a lot of Jamie Lloyd stuff also comes from Ivo Van Hove.
That's right. Oh, I see. That's why I've got a heart and it says free. I get that now.
Do you think there's a likelihood Alex Brightman would reprise? You're right.
Yeah. I was trying to understand TikTok law. Supposedly the hearts of a number raise you in the popularity ranks. And that's why that's there, because then most people can help because they're... TikTok has so much more like things than Instagram Live and YouTube Live for this like type of thing.
Arguably too much.
Yeah, it takes a lot to figure out.
Yes, I'm also too old to figure out TikTok. Do you think there's a likelihood Alex Brightman would reprise his role as Beetlejuice if it got a West End transfer? I don't believe he likes to fly. I don't think he likes being on a plane. So if he can take a cruise here, potentially. But I don't believe he likes to fly. I remember hearing that before. I refuse to believe that he isn't reprising his role, and I look forward to travelling to London to see it. Well, there you go. How long will MJ be around in the Prince Edward? I'm not in the Prince Edward. I'm at home. No, I'm joking. MJ the musical, it could be a very long time because Thriller Live was in the West End for a very long time at a smaller theatre, but it could be for quite a while. I would not bet against MJ. Very popular here.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm a live streamer, so feel free to ask if you're confused and anything. Yeah, I was trying. It's just a bit. There's just a lot of levels to it. I kind of get what the live goals are. I get it's the teams is a new thing.
I think, given that it's after 2 a.m. here, we should probably wind down.
Yeah, interesting. Cast album for next to normal. There's a pro shot, so possibly from that. We will find out soon, I think.
Cool. Well, thank you everybody for chatting to us these past 3.5 hours.
It's definitely time for bed now.
It is. Because interviewing an exciting West End performer tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which I'd kind of forgotten that was happening because the week is creeping up on me. But that is tomorrow lunchtime. So we need to go get some sleep.
Yeah, time for sleep.
Thank you,
it's 9:12 in New York.
For joining. Yes. Good gosh.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.